evening, football fans! What's going on, y'all? We are back at it! I hope you're ready and excited as I am, because the NFL's awesome day of picking college players is all but set. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2021 NFL Draft coming your way. This is going to be quite the spectacle. For the first time in a very long time, we did not have an NFL Combine. And guess what? We found ourselves in quite the pickle. How do we know some of these players can perform to the highest ability when they didn't have a season? How do some of these players, are they really that good because they didn't get a chance to play against quote-unquote some of the best who didn't have a season? How about bowl season? Did players who didn't play, is it the same as when they didn't play in a regular season? Is it the same? Is it the same that players maybe didn't get the high quality performance out of the other players this year? Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be quite the show. I'll tell you right now, there are a whole bunch of great players coming out this season, and tonight we are talking about 32 of them. Of course, plenty more. Maybe some who just missed it, and maybe some that are so close yet so far. I'll tell you right now, this is going to be a great show. For the next 2 hours, we are talking NFL Draft on the return of 3 and Out. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your directory for all that is sports. Welcome, football fans. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get a little love in the house? Because football season is back! Ring the bell, sound the alarm, blow the whistle, and get ready for a storm. Because football is on its way. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are ready for a show tonight. We got 2 hours. That's it. We only got 2 hours tonight. So it's going to be a blitz, the kind of show I like, the kind of football play that I desperately like, that I wish the Raiders would get with. Anyway, we're not going to go there. We're already starting the Raider dissing Larry B. Yes, we are. I'm sorry, but until they prove otherwise, they're crap. Anyway, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on into tonight's show. This is going to be a fun one. I am all ready and set for what is going to be a lot of fun. We've seen him in the Senior Bowl. We saw bits and pieces in the season. But did we get the whole story? Well, we're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined here by a few of my colleagues, and we're going to have a whole bunch more to come tonight. It's going to be rapid fire all night long. We're going to be giving our draft picks and telling you why, and it's going to be all kinds of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned in live to our very special 2021 NFL Draft Edition of 3 and Out, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What's going on, y'all? Hopefully you have a wonderful afternoon. I certainly have. So many great things have happened over the last couple of days, and I gotta tell you, it's been a beautiful thing. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to rock and roll, and I am ready to start delivering you this amazing draft that we got coming to us here. So, with that said, With that said, y'all, I want to introduce my co-hosts. Well, they'll be popping in and out like a jack in the box all night long, but the man who's been doing the show with me for quite some time now, he broke away and got his own show, and I've been supporting him ever since. The guy is the real deal, and I'm so glad that he's still a part of the IE Sports Radio family here. Ladies and gentlemen, he is one of a kind, and trust me, he will tell you about a wine or two that's one of a kind. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from North Carolina, from the East Coast, man, my brother that graduated from Florida State that will tell you they're the best, because well, in his head, they're the best. I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Tallahassee. Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. All the way from North Carolina. Show some love, y'all, to my boy, man. The man, the myth, the legend, the wonder who is Mr. Wine Taster himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming Mr. Mike Pat. What's going on, Mike? How you doing tonight, brother?
Good evening, Larry B. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing the freaking best that I can in life. How are you doing today, brother?
I am doing the best I can. It is NFL Draft Show. We have been doing this for how many years running now? How many years has it been you and me on here? 4? Is this 4 now?
Oh, actually...
Is it, it's at least, it's 4 at minimum, I know that. But either way, I'm happy to be back for another one. And this is not a beer. This is a sparkling water, everybody. This is not alcohol. I'm going non-alcoholic this evening.
And you know what? We'll take it. Mike Pat's taking a break from the alcohol. The man is not an alcoholic. He is a wine connoisseur. This man is literally, I mean, I gotta say, if he's not a sommelier already, he should be. Because the man is about as legit as it gets when it comes to telling you about those alcoholic beverages that are actually amazing. I never knew that the vastness of the wine world was that deep, but my goodness, he is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Pat go ahead. I
will say, fun fact to the gentleman I'm speaking with and everybody out there on the internet, I am actually level 1 beer Cicerone certified.
No freaking way!
Yes, sir.
See, this is why we love you, man. This is why we love Mike, because he knows wine. I just kidding. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, brother, this is awesome. So with that said, Mike, how was your day, man? Tell us a little bit about your day.
My day today?
Yeah, how was your day today?
Well, I spent it like I spent any day off from work. I was with my son.
Oh, boy! That's awesome, yo.
And working on updating my mock drafts, which every time I come up with a new version of the mock draft, a trade happens, and I have to go back and readjust. And thank you, I'm going to jump the gun now. Thank you, Denver Broncos, for being the culprits this time around.
Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like every time you redo your draft, it's kind of like redoing your March Madness bracket. Like something else happens that you just did. It's awesome. So with that,
I literally turned to my wife after the trade happened with Denver and said, I quit. I'm done. I give up on the mock drafts this year. I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I've got one for y'all tonight.
I'm excited.
Yo, what is up, guys? Good to be here with you, man.
I am ready. Who on God's green earth just jumped in? Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, he didn't even wait for his introduction. He just popped in like, well, I'm not going to make any Jess references. I'm sorry. He just popped in. He's kidding. I'm just kidding, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the voice.
He flew in like a jet.
He flew in like a jet. He did. There he is. I'm so excited for this. We got a whole bunch of draft to get through, guys, and this is going to be fun. So now we're going to just go rapid fire and have some fun. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, of course, he just made his entrance, and I'm glad he did. Welcoming host here, founder and host of the show that never sleeps here on IE Sports Radio. They just ended a few minutes ago, him and Pierre. Great stuff as always. I didn't get a chance to catch it tonight, but I'll definitely get the podcast. He'll be on another show in just a little bit, so he's going to be talking some Jets with us right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy is the real deal, and I just found out that he is a fellow, I guess I should get used to saying it because I'll be a teacher soon. Womp, womp, womp. I'm just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, of course, he is as awesome as it gets. I'm glad to have him. He's the real deal. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, welcoming Mr. Harrison Glazier. What's going on, Harrison? How's it going, man?
What's going on, man? I appreciate you guys having me on. Excited to be talking football with you guys. Draft is my thing. Love it. I'm so excited. I can't wait. The day's finally almost here. As you guys know, like you said, I do the show that never sleeps on IE Sports. It's the best place for you guys to check out your sports. It's awesome. Love it. And I'm excited to be part of it.
Hey, I'm glad to have you, man. Glad to have you here tonight. And of course, welcoming, he is host of of Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. So many hosts here tonight from IE Sports Radio. So glad to have him. Of course, this man is a diehard Bears fan. And earlier he said in the chat room, why am I not a Bears fan? Because I love defense so much. And he's got a point. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Adam Karnick. How's it going today, Adam?
Doing great, Larry. How you been?
I'm doing the best I can, man. I had Subway for lunch, so I had a big old sandwich. It was pretty good. I'm happy. Things are going good, y'all. And every time I get a big sandwich, I'm happy. I'm just saying, it's like math with me. I gotta have, it's just a sandwich thing.
When in doubt, food is good. Yes. So some context here for Larry. So Larry throws out in the chat earlier today that he doesn't understand why, a football coach should why doesn't anybody build a team all around the defense? Just get all the guys you can and just blitz the quarterback every single play. Bear defense. And it's like, wait a minute. This sounds like every conversation I've had with a Bears fan in the last 30 years. Larry, you are a Bears fan.
I guess he's got a point. I mean, good Lord.
Sounds like you've been indoctrinated, man.
Khalil Mack's a former Raider.
I guess so.
And Max, you come back to Mac. Exactly.
Look it. My sorry silver and black is my team, but I'm definitely not opposed to all the other teams in the NFL. You know what's funny, guys? I've been a podcaster. Well, we've all been podcasters now, but I've become a podcaster 7 years ago, coming up in just about a month's time on IE Sports Radio. The funny thing is, don't get me wrong, I'm not leaving any of my teams, but the more I podcast, the more I just become more of a fan of the game and less than of the team. If that makes any sense. Like, seriously, guys.
Yeah, I found that, especially with me, as I, research teams, and, I'm really big into, roster building and, drafts and things like that, and you really become a fan of everybody because you become invested in every team's moves.
Isn't it awesome?
The fantasy football effect.
It exactly. Really is. It's awesome. So I'm telling you, I'm loving it, and it's awesome to do. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, of course, final person on here for right now, at least. So like I said, we got to go rapid fire in just a little bit here. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, of course. He is the founder and host of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show here at IE Sports Radio, talking all Southern California sports. He, of course, is the founder and host of Set Point here, our volleyball show, which there was a dang good volleyball tournament that just ended with the women. I still can't believe Kentucky won the whole thing. That was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, he has a lot of great stuff to do with IE Sports Radio here. I'm glad to have him aboard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And of course, as I may say the same thing I said for Mike earlier, the man, the myth, the legend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. How's it going, Taryn?
What up, y'all? It is great to be on here, and thank you for having me, Larry B. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And I hope everyone can hear me perfectly, because if not, there may be problems. But I'm ready to talk some football for as long as I possibly can. As you once said, Larry, let's boogie!
Let's boogie, y'all, because that's what it's about. That's what we get down and do. So, with that said, y'all, let's just go ahead and jump on into the draft and go first pick and just have some fun. Okay, so tonight's going to be a little bit different than before. At first, we used to kind of get hung up in the top 10, and then we found ourselves squishing for time at the very end. Tonight, we literally only have 2 hours, meaning we don't have the whole 3 hours to go, which means that we're already an hour and 40... We have an hour and 45 minutes as of, a few seconds coming up. So, let's just have some fun, rapid fire, and then we'll spend time, of course, on the picks we need to spend time on, but for the ones that are obvious, let's just, have fun with them and just go with them. So, with that said, we're going to go in this order, just because we're just going to go in this order, I guess. So, we're going to start things off. We're going to go Mike. Then we're going to go Harrison, Andrew, Taryn, myself. So, here we go, y'all. Let's have some fun with it and get on into it. So, the first overall draft in the 2021 NFL Draft. This is interesting because, once again, so many teams didn't even play this year, okay? Some of these guys didn't get a chance. It's just been crazy. But, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. This one's kind of a no-brainer. I'm not sure why they're going to do this, but, whatever. I guess it is what it is. Everybody, let's have some fun saying the same name over and over, unless one of you has something different. Mike, start us off.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. Whoop-de-doo. Like it was any different. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. But
he's been the pick for 6 months, and he's going to be the pick tomorrow night.
He sure is, and I don't see anything changing. Harrison, do you have anything that's going to blow our minds, or Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, and I've been saying the same thing on my podcast as well. It's crazy. I mean, everyone was talking about Trevor Lawrence for so long, over the end of last year, and then over the last couple of months, it's been nothing but Zach Wilson, which is fun for me because I don't know if you guys know, Zach's been my guy going back to like December with the Jets. No one was talking about him. I was like, this is the second best guy. Why does nobody see this? I don't understand what's happening here. But it's been nothing but Zach for so long that now there's this speculation. Could Zach be the pick? It's not happening. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is that unheralded guy. I mean, he's the one, they've been praising him. He's like the Messiah. Like the heavens open up and the light shines down every time they say Trevor Lawrence. Because, he's been the guy. He's been the guy since high school, always winning, always putting up numbers. I guess there's a modicum of a chance they could go with Zach Wilson. We're talking like microscopic chance, and no one else. There's no other possibility of anybody else. But yeah, I don't see how they pass up on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's the guy.
Absolutely. I don't see how they would either, but I'm just saying, Harrison, tomorrow, there's no bigger way to piss you off than, no, because if they got Zach Wilson, then you guys are getting Trevor Lawrence. So.
That's what I've been saying, bro, and it's so funny. I'm looking at Jets Twitter, and again, I've been on Zach for like the longest time. People are freaking out over the last 2 weeks. They're like, oh man, what if Jacksonville takes Zach? I'm like, do you not see the problem here? Like this works out for us no matter what. Either we get Trevor Lawrence or we get Zach Wilson. No matter what, the Jets are sitting pretty. So I'm excited. I mean, I want Zach, but if some 180 happens and we get Trevor, I'm not complaining. And the Jets fan base, they ain't complaining either.
Exactly. I wouldn't either. My goodness, you guys have what you need right there in front of you, so I am completely all for it. We're going to hear more about that pick coming up next, but Adam, can you just drop it on us?
I'll keep the line moving. Yeah, it's Trevor Lawrence. Dude's already making donations to Jaguars charities. Jaguar fans are already supporting his charities. I think they've already bought a house for him in Jacksonville. It's Trevor Lawrence. End of story. Take it to the bank.
It's pretty right. I'm just saying it's the truth. Taryn, is there anything that you can disagree with from these gentlemen?
No. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence, and I feel bad for Gardner Minshew, but at the same time, Trevor Lawrence is pretty much the equivalent of this year's volleyball Jesus.
I do not feel bad for Gardner Minshew at all. He can grow that mustache. He will get a job doing something somewhere, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm with Adam. I think Gardner Minshew is massively underappreciated. I think he's actually a pretty good quarterback in his own right. I like him a lot. I think he could definitely make it on a team. There's no way he's going to stay, if he's a free agent, there's no way that's going to stay for long. Or if somebody trades for him, it could definitely happen.
No.
I think Gardner Minshew is this generation's Tim Sorgi. You remember Tim Sorgi backed up Peyton Manning for like a decade? I think this guy's going to be a very long-term quality backup in the league.
I agree.
Good job if you can get it.
Exactly, no joke. So I think we all know who's going first, which, okay, cool. Trevor Lawrence, please get over there and make something happen. I mean, anyway, it's the Jaguars, guys. I'm sorry. I just can't at the moment. Anyway, Jaguars, please help them pray. They need prayer. Okay, next, the Jets. Okay, this team has been so up and down for so long. We actually have a Jets fan here, so I don't mind taking a little bit of time on this one, because Lord knows the Jets need some time. I mean, I don't understand it. The defenses, look, I don't understand. The defenses have been so gosh damn good.
You should rename yourself Mark Schlereth.
Hey, the defenses have been good. I don't get it. The offense is just, I don't understand. Like, these defenses are good enough, and you guys always get amazing defensive players, and I just don't understand why, I don't know. I guess my philosophy sucks in today's NFL, because I'd be doing what the Jets are doing. Let me just get defense every single year and build that sucker, but I guess an offense is a good thing to have. I don't know. But we'll start off with you this time. Take all the time you want. Please tell us what you know, and go ahead and elaborate on the Jets draft, if you will. Harrison, the floor is yours, man. It's Jets time here on iSports Radio.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. And you mentioned it before, everyone takes cracks at the Jets, and I get it. They're low-hanging fruit. It's an easy thing to crack on. It's like, oh, the Jets suck, because they have. But what I found really funny right now is, this LOL Jets narrative. The same people that are saying, that a couple of months ago were saying, that Joe Douglas was a great hire, is a great GM, finally the right guy, which I've been saying for the longest time. feel free to, check out all my stuff. Joe's, I love this guy. He's done everything I want. He checks all my boxes. I love the guy. He's my GM. And we haven't had one before that, unfortunately. And at the head coach situation, so many people were excited when we brought in Robert Saleh. We brought in Robert Saleh. The same people were like, finally, they brought in a guy that gets it. They brought in a football guy. We have a head coach that players want to play for. Guys like Carl Lawson literally came here because they wanted to play with Saleh. That's what they said. So the culture is changing. The right people are put in. And the same people that have said, that, they've done this, they've made the right decisions, they put the right people in, they gave Douglas the keys like you're supposed to do. They actually fixed the franchise. The problem was we were a freaking circus. There was no management. There was no GM and head coach. There was everybody and then the Johnsons. The structure was just completely screwed up. And they fixed that. They, thankfully, I actually complimented the Johnsons on it. And they actually wrote back and said, thank you, which is awesome. I said, that the best thing you can do, and it's true, honestly, I was honest about it. I was like, my biggest problem was the micromanagement of them. The fact that they micromanaged the team for so long. And the most humble thing you can do is to step back, and admit that you have somebody better in there than you, or you made mistakes, that to give Douglas the keys like they did was the best thing they can do. And as long as that's the case, and, he really is running the show, I love it. And again, all those people, saying that, the Jets, no matter what they do, no matter who they take, they're going to wind up, still being bad. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It's the same people saying the culture's changing. So it's in the air. Everything is changing. It's not going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, but the right pieces are there. The Jets are going QB at 2. I'm a huge Zach Wilson guy. That's been my guy a long time. I watched him back in December. It was an interesting transition this year. Like, if you talk with Jet fans, like, I joke about it. It's like I almost have whiplash in my neck with how many times, like, you snap back and forth between, like, Darnold and Lawrence. And so I was on Darnold for the longest time. Finally, like, trepidatiously, I got on Lawrence. I was like, I accept it. Like, this is my guy, but I get it. He's the unheralded guy, the Messiah. He's going to, split the water and make everything great. That's awesome. I'm on board finally. Then we miss out on him, and everyone jumped back to Darnold. But I was like, wait, He was the worst quarterback in the league for a reason. You guys moved on from him. Mm-hmm. Why are we going back just because we can't have Lawrence? Look at the other prospects. And that was when I fell for Zach Wilson. Like, I just fell for all the traits he has. Love his pocket awareness. So many things about him. I could just go on and on. Check this. That's what the Jets have to do. They have to take Zach Wilson. That's the pick. I'm most excited about that. And that's what I want.
I like it. I really do. I think he could be the guy at BYU. I mean, he played well. BYU was a hidden gem this year, so I like it. Good stuff there. Okay, so everybody else, you get the Diet Coke version, but quick and dirty. Mike Pat, what you think, man?
So I agree. So we all know the Jets are going to be taking a quarterback with this pick. They traded Sam Darnold. Quarterback is their top need. This is a great year to take a quarterback. Probably, I'm going to say, from what I've heard, 90 to 95% Zach Wilson, like a 5 to 10% chance somebody else. But the key to this Jets draft is not this pick, because we know this pick's going to be a quarterback. The key is going to be, what do they do with their other 4 picks that are in the top 100? If they can find some good quality players to help the defense and build around whoever they pick a quarterback, then they're going to be winners of the draft. But this pick, pretty simple, going to be a quarterback. I'm going with Zach Wilson as well. I think it's going to be pretty unanimous.
Okay. Adam, what you got?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be Zach Wilson. The thing that stuck out with me was at his pro day, Harrison, you'll probably know who this quote was from. I couldn't remember, but there was a scout who said, okay, everybody, this draft now starts at 3. It was going to be Zach Wilson. I felt like the Jets were going to go with a quarterback before they traded Darnold. It became one of the worst kept secrets in football once they traded Darnold. They're going quarterback. It's going to be Zach Wilson.
Without a doubt. Taryn, any mind blowers here?
Yeah, the only other pick I'd see the Jets taking would be Justin Fields, but I think the Jets are going Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson has been one of those hidden gems that eventually blossomed. He was a diamond in the rough, and he let himself be well known, and it's quite amazing, and it's a beautiful thing, honestly. So Zach Wilson's my pick.
Thank you, sir. I completely agree. So, okay, with that said, let's move it on here to the Niners. San Francisco 49ers have the third pick this year in the NFL draft. This is pretty simple in my opinion as well. Maybe, maybe not, but here we go. Short and sweet, because I'm not going to take all the time. I'm going Mac Jones because, well, why not? This is just an issue, and oh boy. The Niners were good for a little bit, but I just feel like they're going to go with quarterback because he's there. So, Mike, what you got?
So I'm with you, Larry. I think every quarterback name is probably on the books at this point for San Francisco. We know they're going quarterback because they gave up a king's ransom to trade up 2-3. So it's got to be a quarterback. You're not doing that for Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase or even Kyle Pitts. You're doing it for a quarterback. I'm thinking Mac Jones. But I don't know. It's very confusing that the rumor mill has been churning 24/7 for the Niners for the past probably month. And it's just a weird situation because normally the Niners just kind of take us by surprise. But I'm going with Mac Jones with Zach Wilson off the board. Now, I think if there's a surprise at 2 with the Jets, then I think they go Wilson. And I do think Justin Fields and Trey Lance are both in the discussion here. But I'm leaning with where the rumor is going, and I'm going with Mac Jones. And if anything, taking a quarterback, if I get quarterback right, I get some credit, right?
I agree. Harrison?
I got a curveball for you guys. Well, maybe for you guys a curveball. I don't think it is. To me, it seems the way they would go. So I do a lot of QB eval. It's a big thing with me. If you guys want to check it out on my podcast, the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast, people kept asking me, so I did like an hour-long take with all my eval of all these guys. Basically, I had Wilson at my 2. I said I love Lance. Lance checks all the boxes I look for. A lot of the things I see that I like in Wilson, I like in Lance. It's incredibly raw, but it's there. It just needs to be honed. In fact, I think he's a perfect fit for our system. And our system comes from San Francisco. That's where our system comes from. It's the Shanahan system. So I've said it for a while. I'm penciled in at this. I think the 49ers traded up to get Trey Lance. And the fact that they made it clear that they may not trade Jimmy Garoppolo, that makes the most sense too. Because again, Lance isn't ready to start day one. There's unbelievable amounts of talent there. And again, I can't stress that all the things I love in Wilson, I see it in Lance. That kid, some people pointed out, at a buddy of mine who does eval that said he thinks if Lance, stayed and went next year, he would have been the unequivocal number 1. And that's very possible. There's unbelievable amounts of talent there. So he fits the system. I think the Niners traded up to get Lance.
Yeah, that's a great, like good stuff, Harrison, as always. That's why he's here, y'all. The Draft Master. I'm loving it. Adam, what you got?
I love that, Harrison. There were some things there I hadn't thought of, like they're hanging on to Garoppolo. I also have them taking a quarterback. There's no way they make that trade for any position other than quarterback. I have them taking Mac. If I were the general manager of the 49ers, I would not be taking Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones is number 5 of the 5 guys.
That's right.
But we keep hearing that Kyle Shanahan, for some reason, loves Mac Jones, which apparently is code for he hates athletic quarterbacks because he's taking the statue of the group. So I have them taking Mac Jones, but I don't like the pick. With Trey Lance and Justin Fields sitting there, you need to take one of the better quarterbacks, but I'm going to go with Mac Jones against my better judgment.
Okay, good. Okay, nice pick there. Okay, Taryn, finish us off.
I will say, if I may interject, sorry, really quick here, to piggyback off of Adam's statement, I also have Mac Jones, number 5 out of 5, and to me, he doesn't belong anywhere near the top 10, and I think if he doesn't go 3, he's sliding all the way. New England might not even need to trade up. They might just take him at 15 straight up. But like you guys have said, it's the rumor mill flowing, and the rumor mill is leaning Jones.
Yeah. If I may quick for a second, that was funny too, and I pointed that out, on the show that never sleeps just earlier. I was talking about that. It's funny, man, because with my lineup again, Lawrence is 1, Wilson at 2, Lance at 3, Fields at 4. I had Jones and Trask kind of tied. The way I looked at him was, Mac Jones, unbelievable talent, put up great numbers, but he had unbelievable talent around him in a system designed to succeed. And at Florida, Kyle Trask, had Kyle Pitts, and he had great numbers, but only for a limited amount of time. But at one point in the season, Trask's numbers were like one of the best in FBS. Like he almost lit it in like every category at one point. So I think it's literally just because, like you said, somebody mentioned Mac Jones, like one person. One person mentioned Mac Jones and that Shanahan loves him, and all of a sudden Jones shoots up. And Trask has fallen so far, it's like the floor fell out below him. Like he was considered a first-round pick, and now he's way low. So I think those two guys are more equal. I don't think anything's really changed. But it's crazy, like you said, how the rumor mill can change all that.
Hey, absolutely can't. Taryn?
So I actually got Justin Fields as the number 3 pick. Why? Because I think Fields is highly underrated, and I think it takes a lot of talent to take a or take a team to the national championship game. And honestly, the fact that Justin Fields out-dueled Trevor Lawrence means that he deserves to be in the top 3. And I totally agree with Mike that I don't think Mac Jones is the 3rd out of the 5th quarterbacks. I think he's 5 out of 5 like he mentioned. And I think Justin Fields is being disrespected. So I got Justin Fields at number 3. I think they should roll the dice with him.
Good stuff. Okay, nice job, guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll on down to that number 4 pick. Let's just continue to roll on here because remember we got a lot to go in a little bit of time. So number 4 pick here, we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are there, right? They didn't trade. So okay, the Falcons, yes, the Atlanta Falcons with the number 4 pick. And honestly, guys, I wanted to go a different position. I really did because the defense, let's just be real, has been kind of horrendous. But they've also got a quarterback who's kind of on his way. I'm just going to be real. So they probably want to address it, and yes, I know the last time 4 quarterbacks came off the board in a row, especially in the top 4, but I'm actually going to go Trey Lance. Why? Because you know what? North Dakota State literally needs to knock it off already and become a freaking FBS school. Like, can anybody agree with me there? Because it's getting kind of ridiculous. They're destroying everybody, so they need to be a gosh dang FBS school. And Trey Lance is a great example. I mean, we've had him. I'm sorry, Taryn, but Easton Stick. He wasn't Wentz, but Wentz came out and did pretty well. So I'm just saying, yeah, they're producing now. So Trey Lance, I feel like he's going to be the guy to sit behind good old Matt Ryan whenever he decides to call it a career. So sorry it took a little too long there, but that's my pick. So Mike, what you got?
Well, so here's the interesting thing about this pick is that I think because Mac Jones goes 3 in my mock, Atlanta's phone starts ringing off the hook at 4. Because I think if Justin Fields and Trey Lance are both there, somebody's jumping up at them. And I think Atlanta's going to get a potentially king's ransom for that pick. And I think if you're Atlanta, you'd be smart to take that king's ransom. So I think there are 3 equal possibilities. I think Atlanta taking a quarterback, like you said, Larry, is a possibility. I think Atlanta staying put and taking a different position player, like a Penei Sewell or a Kyle Pitts, is a possibility. And I think a team trading up to take a quarterback is a possibility. So I'm going to hedge my bets here and say quarterback, and I'm going to say Justin Fields either A, to Atlanta, which is actually probably the least likely of the 3, or B, more likely a team trades up to take Justin Fields at 4.
That was great timing. Thank you. Okay, Harrison, what you got for us?
I mean, you guys nailed it, which is crazy because I've been saying the same thing for a long time. I've been saying that 1 through 3, easy quarterback, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, total wild card. Literally can go in any direction. It's the exact same thing. They could choose that, Matt Ryan's too old and go with a quarterback. They could decide they want to get his replacement and, have him sit behind him for a little while. They could decide they want to build around him, and take a positional guy, or they could trade back. Mm-hmm. Fields is still on the board, so I kind of think, if I had to pick one, because I honestly think they could do any of them. That's the beauty of it. It's complete wild card. I think Mike's got it, that Justin Fields is on the board because, again, I got Lance at 3. Makes the most sense for the 49ers in that system. Somebody makes the call. I hope it's not the Patriots. I hope Bill Belichick isn't ringing that phone. That's my hope. But I think someone's going to ring that phone if they want to not take a quarterback and make them an offer that they'll probably take. But if they don't make them an offer that they find, good enough, I think they would go with Kyle Pitts would be my option.
That's good stuff right there, Harrison. That's why you're here, brother. Adam, what you got?
This pick is next to impossible. Atlanta, I don't see Atlanta taking a quarterback, but I think Atlanta will trade out of the spot. Atlanta needs help on defense. There is no defensive player worth taking at 4. It would be a huge reach, bad value for the spot. Atlanta is going to be trading back. So who is going to go at 4? It could literally be any player in the draft. Since for our purposes, we weren't doing any trades in our mocks, I gave them Rashawn Slater. I figured since you're not replacing Matt Ryan, let's keep him upright as much as we can. So giving the Falcons some help with the line. Slater can play both inside or outside, so he's help immediately. As far as quarterback, Larry, we actually have never had the top 4 picks all be quarterbacks. We've only twice had 4 quarterbacks taken in the top 10. So it's going to be historical, this draft for quarterbacks. I don't think Atlanta takes one.
Okay. What you got for us, Darren?
So for number 4, I got Trey Lance to the Falcons. I think regardless of who they get, I expect the Falcons to get a quarterback. I don't even know who the Falcons' backup quarterback is. So just because Matt Ryan is getting up there in age, and they need a possible predecessor. I think that's the correct word to say. Mm-hmm. Regardless, they need someone for Matt Ryan to take under his wing and to learn the system and whatnot, because Atlanta is basically a hamster running in a wheel at this point, unless they change some things. So yeah.
Okay, well, with that said, good stuff so far, gentlemen. We have gotten through 4 picks. Pick number 5, the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, this is going to be short and sweet for me. You got a new quarterback. Freaking protect him. You're going to invest in this guy. Freaking protect him. There's a big monster coming out of Oregon. Trust me, I've seen him destroy people all season long in the Pac-12. Well, at least in the little bit of games we had. The guy's great. Panay Sewell is the way to go. He's a freaking beast. And seriously, he's a great fill-in at tackle. And I'm pretty sure he's an instant starter because, well, it's Cincinnati. I'm sorry. But with that said, Mike, what you got?
Well, so I'm following the rumor mill and I'm following the press conferences. Now, I know people like to blow a lot of smoke in the pre-draft press conferences, but Cincinnati has come out and said that they like the round 2 and the round 3 offensive linemen in this class. And they've also said that they really like having Jonah Williams and Riley Reif as their offensive tackles. Now, that all could be... Is this an explicit show? That all could be, insert whatever expletive here. But I'm gonna lean with the rumor mill, and I'm actually gonna go with Jamar Chase here, wide receiver out of LSU. They like to have weapons, and Joe Burrow and Chase, they've got a connection going back to college. I think it'd be a really easy transition for both, and I think it would be I don't think it would be the best pick because I think Sewell would be the better pick, but I think Cincinnati likes their weapons, likes adding their weapons, and I think that's the direction they go.
Okay, good stuff, Harrison.
It's interesting. I'd say I would pretty much agree with Mike, on that part with Sewell, because with the Bengals right now, they have their, young franchise quarterback they just drafted. Like you said, they want to keep him upright. They have a couple of weapons, could stand to add a couple of more. I think they could potentially go with a Jamar Chase, potentially at that situation. But Panay Sewell is, by all definitions, a generational offensive tackle. By, generational, one of those guys that only comes around, every 10, maybe even 20 years. Yep. The example I compared was a guy like Joe Thomas. He's not the same player, but a generational offensive lineman, and it's hard to pass on that. I kind of hope they do, because Carolina's also interesting. Carolina says they might want to go quarterback if they don't. I want them to get Sewell. I want them to get Sam Darnold, his Mekhi Becton, help him stay upright. But Sewell is a generational offensive lineman. He's really hard to pass on. I would be shocked if the Bengals pass on him at 5. I have a wild card take one, though. My wild card take is that Atlanta chooses to go with a quarterback, a guy like Justin Fields. The clock rolls down to the Bengals. Burrows still has an ACL problem. Burrow's not ready yet. The Bengals trade a second or third round pick to the Falcons to acquire Matt Ryan.
Oh man. Blockbuster. I like it. Okay, Adam, follow that, man. Who do the Bengals have at 5?
If the board falls this way, the Bengals will literally break their draft phone calling with how quickly they make this call. It's Jamar Chase. Burrow and Chase lit it up at LSU. I know that you've got to protect a quarterback. The Bengals think they can do that anyway already. Reuniting Burrow and Chase, they will have weapons, and that's what a young quarterback needs. For me, it's Chase.
Okay, Taryn, who you got?
So I think the Bengals take Jamar Chase just because it would be perfect to reunite him with Joe Burrow. And to me, they did lose A.J. Green to the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't think Tyler Boyd is going to suffice by himself. Something else I could see is maybe the Bengals trading down and then another team trading up. Primarily, maybe the Chargers, because they want to get Penei Sewell. I think Penei Sewell, like, I originally had Penei Sewell, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, maybe Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow would be the perfect answer, because that's basically Batman and Robin right there. They helped win a national championship with LSU. Maybe they could help turn the Bengals around. But they'll need a lot more than that. But I think taking Jamar Chase at 5 would be somewhat ideal.
I think so. I think they're going to take
By the way, can we talk about how great a position Cincinnati is in with 4 quarterbacks go ahead of them? Like, dadgum, you basically have the first pick in the draft again.
He said daggum.
Yeah. And you see that one all the time with so many times, all the time. The Jets had it when they got Jamal Adams. The Jets had it when they got Leonard Williams. Talent falls in drafts because people reach for quarterbacks. A lot of times they reach and they fail. They take a guy that doesn't deserve to go that high, and it causes real tough fall.
Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky. I'm sorry. I got something stuck in my throat.
When I think of Mitch Trubisky, I think of Trask. That's my comparison to me that scares me. Like elite production, but at a small sample size.
You guys, man. So the 6th overall pick, we got just about 15 minutes to get through these picks. We got a whole bunch. So Miami Dolphins, short and sweet. We talked about right now Jamar Chase and Burrow being reunited. I think Tua is going to be reunited with somebody. I think guys know where I'm going with this. He's a little bit younger, I get it, but he's the best goddamn wide receiver in college football right now. I mean, I know some people say Jamar Chase is. I don't know, but this guy's freaking amazing. Just walks the national championship. I'm going Devontae Smith all day long to go to Miami because, well, why not? Seriously. So, Mike, what you got?
Well, to me, Miami's got one of 2 picks, Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase, and whoever Cincinnati picks, they'll take the other one. So I've got Cincinnati taking Chase, so I've got them taking Penei Sewell. They just traded Eric Flowers, so they've opened up a guard spot to move right tackle Robert Hunt inside to his more natural position, and that opens up a tackle spot, so Penei Sewell.
All right, who you got, Harrison?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys made a good point before. Just, it's tough with the Bengals. Like, it's hard for me to pass on a guy like Penei Sewell, but then again, at the same time, it does. The Jamar Chase makes a lot of sense. I mean, it just really, really makes a lot of sense in that situation, especially with LSU, Joe Burrow eventually being back, being the guy. I obviously, think if Jamar Chase goes before, then the pick is going to be Penei Sewell. If the Bengals choose to go with Penei Sewell, then I think either the Dolphins would then obviously take Jamar Chase, or an interesting option for them could be Rashad Slater. I think they could go with a guy like that, a big beast, to help them out on that offensive line that they need. So I think it always really depends on how the draft board falls, but I think something along that line.
Good stuff. Okay, what you got for us, Adam?
Mike, one of the 2 of us is cheating off of the other, because I also have for the Dolphins, since they're not going wide receiver, you're taking Penei Sewell. I think Sewell at one point was considered the best non-quarterback in this class. It's amazing that he's going to fall all the way to 6, but you got a young quarterback, you got to protect that young quarterback. It's Sewell.
Okay, Taryn?
So I have, and this is kind of my last minute pick. I actually originally had Jamar Chase going at 6, but then I shuffled everything around at the last minute. And for number 6, I have the Dolphins taking Kyle Pitts. Why? Because I don't know if Mike Gesicki is the true answer for them, but I think Kyle Pitts is a phenomenal talent at tight end. I think that's kind of their only question mark. They're pretty much good for the most part at every other position Maybe quarterback is still a little shaky, depending on what Tua has to offer. But I think the Dolphins are a big question mark at tight end. So I got Kyle Pitts. The Dolphins are set for the future, though.
Can I get an ooh?
No, man. That's an interesting pick. My next pick is pretty interesting because, well, let's just be real. The Detroit Lions have seen better no, they haven't. I'm sorry, but that's kind of mean. But regardless, look, I'm still pissed off that my boy, man, Patricia didn't get the job done over there. I get it. Head coach is way different. I understand. But, well, the Lions have a lot to make up on, and, well, they're just going to want something flashy. He's a hell of an athlete, and why not? They got a quarterback over there now, a different quarterback in that silver or whatever you call that in blue. But, well, I'm going to go Jamar Chase, guys. Why? Because he's going to be what's left on the board, and right now the Lions have a anything helps sign right now. I hate to say it like that. It's kind of mean, but that's the Lions right now, so that's exactly who I'm picking. So, Mike, what you got?
Okay, this is my first of what I think I've got 4 really intriguing picks in my mock draft. So this is the first one right here. So the Detroit Lions have 4 starting for 2022 and 2023. They have 4 first-round picks because of the Matt Stafford trade with the Rams. So this is a team that is clearly thinking for the future. So it doesn't really benefit them to get someone who can help them now. It really benefits them to get someone who can help them maybe 2 or 3 years down the line in 2023 or 2024. So that's why I have Detroit taking, drumroll please, Trey Lance, quarterback, because they've got Jared Goff for at least 2 years financial obligation because of his guaranteed money. So he can sit in there and he can take all the lumps. Trey Lance can sit and develop behind him. And for the next 2 years, Detroit can build up on these stockpiled picks, get some really great help for Trey Lance, and then they're playing the super long game. But I think if they're thinking for 2024, then this pick can only be Trey Lance.
Good job. Okay, what you got for us, Harrison?
I think that's an interesting way to go. I actually looked at it the same way, but I have it a different quarterback, and I actually noticed I've seen him in a couple of mocks. I've seen him there in a couple of mocks. So as you guys know, I had, Lawrence, Wilson, and even I think Trey Lance, to me, feels like a lock, with those first 3. At 4, could Justin Fields go? Fields seems like the one guy I see potentially slipping a little bit. And if he's there at 7, I've seen him in a couple of mocks going to the Lions, and it makes sense, and it just makes me laugh. Because, back in the 2016 draft, I remember everyone was like, all on, Goff and Wentz and Paxton Lynch, and I was just like, oh. Like, I didn't like that draft class at all. I was the one saying, why is no one looking at Dak Prescott? Like, I don't get this. Like, Dak Prescott's, I think one of the best ones in this draft. But I don't like Goff, honestly, that much. I don't think he's their answer. I mean, that's why a lot of Lions fans, think they won the trade. But if you look at the way the compensation went, you really didn't. So you got first picks, but you didn't get the better quarterback. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely a question mark still there. And I think Justin Fields, if he's still on the board, could go. Wide receiver is a big need for them. I don't think Chase is still on the board. That's why I think Devonta Smith would be an excellent pick there if they choose to go with a wide receiver. Another interesting option for the Lions is they could go cornerback. Their corners are pretty weak. And if they do that, I think they'd shock a lot of people because a team like the Cowboys go with the flashy name. I think the Lions are going to go with the guy with the most potential, and to me, that's J.C. Horn. So I think J.C. Horn could potentially go with that pick as well.
Okay, good stuff there. Okay, nice. Once again, that's why you're here, Harrison. Great stuff. Okay, Adam, who you got, man?
This is the one thing I'll say with the Lions, when they made the trade, it was not about acquiring Goff. Acquiring Goff was simply another way that they could get an extra first-round pick out of the Rams. So I also would not be surprised if the Lions take a quarterback. However, they have needs literally everywhere on that roster. So to me, it makes the most sense to take the best player available. To me, in my board, that means Kyle Pitts, tight end. That's the best player available, great pass catcher, somebody that they can help build around and help create an offensive identity. So for me, it's Pitts.
I like it. Taryn?
So the problem with taking Pitts is they already have T.J. Hawkinson, so
Yes.
that caused a little too tight end controversy. I have the Lions taking,
but Hawkinson's been bad, so move on.
And no one's Kyle
not
Pitts.
too bad. Anyway, I have Detroit taking Jalen Waddle at wide receiver. Just because they need a little bit more firepower. I think they lost a wide receiver or two when it came to this free agency. But honestly, I think Jalen Waddle would be a great addition for their program or for their team just because they need all the receiver help they can get. And I know some Alabama wide receivers have had a bad rookie year to start, such as Henry Ruggs, and I forget the guy on the Broncos. Regardless, I think Jalen Waddle would be a perfect pick for Detroit.
Good pick. Good pick. Okay, so next up, the Carolina Panthers at number 8. Guys, I'm going to make this one short and sweet. They're going to go corner. They got to go somebody in the secondary. That's really all there is to it. And really, it just comes down to a few different guys for myself. And overall, I think one of the bigger corners in the draft is Caleb Fairley, big boy out of Virginia Tech. He's I don't know how tall he is, but he's a pretty big corner if you look at him. So
like 6'2".
He's pretty big, yeah. And honestly, he's got some pretty good speed. The guy is very athletic. And overall, you know what? I just feel like the Panthers are going to need some help in that secondary. They need help a lot of different places, but, you know, it's kind of nice to start somewhere, so secondary is a good place to address. So, Mike, who you got?
Well, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. You know, the best player left on the board to me is Kyle Pitts. They need a great weapon at tight end, and I think that's kind of a dream scenario for them to land arguably the best weapon in the draft.
That's actually another great avenue. Harrison.
Yeah, man. You know, with the Panthers, I don't see Pitts making it that far. Like, I just don't. I don't see that's possible. I mean, I feel like the Falcons, if they don't go to quarterback, they take him. Hell, the Bengals could even take him. Anybody could take him. I don't see him making it to 8. If Pitts is somehow there, then he fits everybody's board. Like, I think anybody could take Pitts. Like, just Pitts for if Pitts is available, he's probably the best one at your option on that potential pick. But if you look at the Carolina Panthers, they say they're not exactly sold with Sam Darnold. I mean, they're claiming now, you know, first they said they were going to pick up his 5th-year option. Now they're saying they want to wait and see. And there's a lot of quarterbacks that they like in the draft. I don't see a guy like, again, the top 3, I think, are quarterback. I don't see whoever the 4th guy is if it's Justin Fields falling past 7. I just don't. Like, the Lions will steal him there. So I don't see a quarterback being available for them, which is what I think they're kind of hoping. I think they're like, well, okay, well, we're not going to pick up Sam's deal because what if Justin Fields is there or Trey Lance is there or something? But I just don't think they will be, and I don't think they're going to take a Mac Jones. Like you said, I mean, I think after he falls out of that San Francisco, you know, rumor mill area, I don't see them doing it. So offensive line's a big need for them. I don't think Penei Sewell's on the board. If he's there, that's the easy, obvious pick. Get Sam his generational left tackle. If he's not there, Rashad Slater could be there. That's another excellent pick at tackle. But like you mentioned, the Panthers definitely need a corner. Their secondary is very porous.
Yes.
I think the best options for them would either be J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain.
Those are some other great picks. Gosh dang it, Harrison. Yes, you got 2 other really good picks in the secondary. Adam, who you got?
The Panthers only had 7 interceptions as a team last season. They need help in their secondary. Patrick Surtain, you draft him, you put him in day 1 as a starter, and you move on.
You know, how could I let Surtain slip to the radar for the good stuff? Taryn, who you got?
I got Patrick Surtain as well. Yes. I think the Panthers defense left a lot to be desired last year. And keep in mind, the Panthers did draft a whole bunch of defensive guys last year. I don't think they drafted one offensive guy. So I think they're going to keep that trend rolling again. So they need all the help they can get defensively, especially in a division where Tom Brady is your opposition.
Good stuff, really. Good stuff there. So, the number 9 pick, the Denver Broncos are on the clock, and the Donkeys. I'll tell you right now, this one's kind of hard for me to pick because he's a great athlete. And honestly, I feel like he's just going to go there because they have not found their guy just yet. And, gentlemen, I'm going with Justin Fields. There's nothing else to be said. Mic drop. That's it. Mike, who you got?
Well, I had a quarterback here, and then they traded for Teddy Bridgewater to compete with their current guys.
That's
Teddy
right. I'm retarded.
Is the answer, but I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback after trading for a quarterback and putting their faith in another quarterback.
That's right.
And quarterback. So I'm going to go with, again, the best player left on the board to me is, and a position of need for them is Rashawn Slater, offensive lineman. I think he can plug a couple different holes for them, whether it be at guard or right tackle. Jawan James sat out last year due to COVID. There's no guarantee he comes back in perfect condition as well. So I think he could go either guard or tackle and provide an upgrade to that offensive line.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Yes, that trade was this morning. I've been at work all day. This trade was this morning about 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern, where the Broncos did trade for Bridgewater, which he's their guy now. So, yeah, interesting choice here. And the pick, I don't know. I don't know. The Broncos gave away their 6th round pick, which is, but regardless, interesting pick there. So, Mike, can you go ahead and explain the quick details on that trade real fast?
So it was pretty simple trade. It was a 6th round pick. The Panthers picked up the majority of the Teddy Bridgewater contract for this year. I think basically all of the guarantees, about $7 million. And the Broncos are actually only paying him $3 million this year. So it's by no means a commitment to him saying, oh yeah, this guy's going to be our starter. But I think as you've already got Drew Lock. I think they have another somewhat veteran quarterback. I can't remember the name, but somebody else who could compete. So they're clearly going for a quarterback competition in 2021.
Well, at that point in time, then I'm going to go crazy here and just say, you know what? The freaking Broncos, at least in my mock draft, which this is just me being crazy, but I feel like, I don't know, he could slip. None of you guys do have him slipping. I just see all these great players ahead of him. Not that he's not good, but Kyle Pitts, gosh dang it, they got Font already. Can you imagine getting? It'll be insane having these two guys. So I don't know. Now that has happened and threw off my entire draft, and the only guy left right now that I have that's really, 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 really good, Kyle Pitts. Screw it, I have him going to the Broncos. So Harrison, have fun.
So yeah, the Broncos are in an interesting situation. Like Mike just pointed out with the trade, it's not a lot of money overall, for them to eat up, and it's a 2021 6th. It's not even a 6th this year. It's a 6th next. This year. I'm sorry. Don't mind me. My math is. I'm back in 2020 again. COVID's got me all messed up. No. I'm back a year.
Oh no.
Well, we just skipped 2020, so it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's a 6th round pick. It's not a lot at all. So, but I think what they're going to do is they're probably going to have a quarterback competition between Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. That's what I see happening right now. Let them battle it out. Who's going to be the top guy? Who's going to be the backup? If they go out of left field and go with a quarterback, then we've seen it with, John Elway before. He likes, measurables. That's his thing. He looks for certain things that I don't look for. And I made jokes about it in the past, when literally it matches up to the Broncos. Because when you get too caught up on measurables, you don't get a Kyler Murray, you don't get a Russell Wilson, you don't take a Baker Mayfield. What you do is you take a Brock Osweiler and you take a Paxton Lynch. So I feel like Mac Jones kind of fits his mold. Mac Jones kind of fits what John Elway likes and what he looks for in quarterbacks. So that could be an interesting wild card. If they go quarterback, I think Mac Jones could be an interesting fit there. But if they don't go quarterback with the Broncos, one of their obvious biggest needs is the cornerback situation. They definitely need a cornerback pretty bad. So I think they would either go with, if, like I said before, with Panthers, if Horn's there, it's Surtain. Then if Surtain's there, maybe it's Horn. But that's how I think the Broncos would probably handle that.
I can see that. That's also another great scenario for them. Actually, better than mine. So good stuff there. Adam, what you got?
Like so many of us, I had a quarterback for the Broncos, and then John Elway decided to go for Teddy Bridgewater. So that screwed everything up. The Broncos also need help at linebacker, and the best linebacker on the board happens to fit in perfectly right in the 9-10 spot. Micah Parsons out of Penn State. Plug him in. He's good to go. Vic Fangio will fall in love with him. Micah Parsons to the Broncos.
That is a great pick. Well, he would be a candidate for the next team, in my opinion. But that's a good pick there. So
I had him with Dallas, and then John Elway.
Yeah, so. Sean Lee retires, ladies and gentlemen. Can we give him an applause? That man was a legend. It's crazy, man. But you know what? I know a lot of injuries, and we bid you farewell on the football field. But you will not be forgotten on the football field, Mr. Sean Lee. You're awesome. So, Dan, what you got for us?
I got Micah Parsons at number 9 due to the fact that the Broncos defense needs to improve. It used to be really good back in the days when they had Manning and then when they won Super Bowl 50, but now I think it's kind of regressed a little. So I think Micah Parsons would be a huge jumpstart to the Broncos defense.
Well, that good stuff there. I like that as well. I actually have Surtain going to Dallas because let's just be real. They've had decent secondaries and then they just fall apart. I don't know what it is about Dallas and like up or down. I don't think they've ever had an average secondaries. Either they suck or they're good. Like seriously. So I have Surtain actually going there, but there's a lot of more great picks out there as well. There's a couple of great quarterbacks named a little bit ago, but I'm just going to go Surtain. So all right, Mike, who you got? Number 10. Pick number 10.
I'm actually going to pass it to Taryn because Taryn's got to dip out really quick. So I'm going to let Taryn go ahead of me.
All right, go ahead, Taryn.
All right, so number 10, I have J.C. Horn going to the Cowboys. It's just because the Dallas Cowboys defense also needs to improve, and I think with Sean Lee retiring, I think that would be he wouldn't be a substitute, and I think they play different positions, but it would just give Dallas a little bit more of an oomph defensively, just because they do play in a competitive yet weak NFC East division, but I just think the Cowboys defense has seen better days.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I completely agree. And with that said, Taryn, you've been making your exit. Thank you for joining us for the first top 5 picks, man. We appreciate you, and we look forward to having you back on 3 and Out this season, man.
Yes, no problem, and who knows, maybe I'll be back for a little. But thank you for having me, Larry B. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you too, brother. Take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike. What you got for us, man? Pick number 10.
So I'm with you, Larry. I've got Patrick Surtain here now. He could definitely go earlier. I really do like the idea that a lot of the guys mentioned about Surtain to Carolina at 8. I think that would also be a great pick. But if Carolina passes on him, I think he makes a lot of sense to Dallas. Dallas has been vocal about liking him. They need a cornerback. And honestly, I think he is on the same level, if not maybe even slightly more proven than Jeff Okudah, who went top 5 last year. I actually like him a little bit better even maybe than Okudah. I think he's got a little bit more experience under his belt. So I think Surtain's a great corner, and Dallas just makes a lot of sense.
That's a great pick. Harrison, who you got?
Yeah, man, I totally agree. Especially with the Cowboys, they really need help at cornerback, but they also need help at the edge position. They really do need somebody that can get off the edge as an edge rusher. They've been lacking that over the last year or so. So at cornerback, Jerry Jones has been known. He's proven to go for the name guy. And like Mike said, people forget, what Patrick Surtain, because guys like J.C. Horn have been shooting up boards because, like I've said, the potential on this guy, he could wind up being the best one of all of them. He really could. But Patrick Surtain has been one of the best corners in the SEC consistently for 3 years. That's no small feat. I mean, especially in the SEC with top-level wide receiver play at especially a fluctuative position like the corner. So if Patrick Surtain is on the board, I easily see him going to the Cowboys immediately. If he's not, Horn could be an option there. If neither one is available, again, because Jerry Jones likes the names, I think a very interesting out of left field option here, if both of those guys are off the board, Asante Samuel Jr. The Cowboys could use a really good slot cornerback, and that's exactly what Samuel's going to be at the next level, and he's going to be an elite one. This kid at Florida State, in his whole time there, never allowed a single receiver to ever go for 100 yards. Even when he played Pitts, he is unbelievable in coverage. So if those two are gone, I think he would be an interesting pick and a wild card that high. At edge, if they choose to go the edge option, again, because he likes the name, I think he could go with Greg Rousseau or potentially Kwity Paye. I think either one would be good options. I like Paye more. Paye is just amazing, man. Pay reminds me of what we got in Carl Lawson. That kid's got 0% body fat. He is just a freaking bull. You have no chance stopping that guy on the edge. He is going to dominate most tackles he lines up against.
Amazing pick. I completely agree. Nice work there, Harrison. And to be the anchor for this pick, Adam, who you got?
All right. Well, before I do the pick, for the record, if Justin Fields does indeed fall to 10, as the song says, move, boys, get out the way. Get out the way, boys, get out the way. Ryan Pace is coming. Between Ryan Pace and the Washington football team, one of those two is going to fly up and cash in all their checks to get up there to get Justin Fields. And in my mock, Fields is available. So, that being said, again, no trades. Dallas, I had Dallas taking Parsons, but then, of course, Parsons now goes to Denver. I'm going to go different from you guys. The Cowboys, everybody got hurt. And when Dak got hurt, they were in a big problem. Keeping Dak healthy is going to be paramount to them. How do you keep him healthy? You get a good O-line. Elijah Vera Tucker out of Southern California can play inside or outside. You can put him in to start inside, and then he's insurance in case Tyron Smith gets hurt again. You can bump him outside and help protect Dak Prescott. So I have them going offensive line, Vera Tucker, but I would not be shocked at all to see them go defense because Jerry Jones loves defense and loves big, splashy, sexy names.
That's a heck of I like that. Shaking things up. Nice work, Adam. I like it. If you guys agree with Adam, let us know in the chat. That was pretty darn good. All right, so next up, so now we're down. We have 25 to go, and we got literally under an hour, so we got to go a little bit of rapid fire, guys, but I don't think it'll be very hard between all of us. We hit our points real quick and smooth, and that'll be that. So, the New York Giants with the 11th overall pick. Guys, this is a no-brainer for me. They need help. Their defense can wait, I guess, because the offense is, I don't know, they need to continue to add weapons. I like Jalen Waddle. He's fast, he's a very tough physical wide receiver, and he's somebody who I feel can go out there and make some noise to add to that offense that, you know, they're kind of getting better, but it can help out a little bit. So I got Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama, going to the Giants. How about you, Mike?
So I have the Giants going wide receiver as well, but I have them going with Devontae Smith. I just, you got two Alabama wide receivers, both bring something a little bit different to the table. It's honestly a little bit of a coin toss, but I think they've got deep threats in Kenny Golladay and Darius Slayton. I think they need somebody who's a little bit more of a route runner. I am concerned about the size. 166 pounds is awfully light. For an NFL wide receiver, awfully light, but he's a great playmaker. So, I think the Giants are going to overlook that, and I think they'll go with Devontae Smith at 11.
Good pick. Okay, what you got for us, Harrison?
Yeah, man. So I'm going to shake it up a little bit with the Giants because I see everybody talking about wide receiver. That seems to be, a pretty consensus one high on the Giants board. But, you just signed Kenny Golladay, and Kenny Golladay is the only true wide receiver one that was available in free agency. This kid catches basically everything within his radius. He's an unbelievable wide receiver. But they still have Darius Slayton, who I thought was pretty amazing last year. I thought he was excellent as an undrafted guy. He can plug in the second spot, and if Sterling Shepard can stay healthy, that's an excellent slot option. So I don't think the Giants are as desperate at wide receiver as everyone makes them out to be. Obviously, a guy like Devonta Smith or Jalen Waddle, there are good picks. But honestly, I look at the Giants' offensive line, and Daniel Jones struggled last year to stay upright.
Yeah.
That was a big problem for him. And not only does he struggle to stay upright, he puts the ball on the floor when he does that problem, when he can't stay upright. So the Giants need offensive line help, especially because they, just lost, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name here, Zeitler. They just lost him. So, looking at the interior line, I think a really good pick for the Giants right here, Vera Tucker. I think Vera Tucker would be an excellent pick, plug and play day one, fix the interior of that offensive line. The Giants are better at wide receiver than they're getting credit for. That would be an excellent pick.
That is a good pick. Did not think about the offensive line. Good pick. Adam, what you got?
Harrison, you just said everything I was about to say. The Giants have spent so much money at wide receiver this offseason. They're not going to go wide receiver. Daniel Jones is ending his honeymoon with the Giants. he has to prove it. This is his prove it year. They have got to keep him upright because when he's under pressure, he panics, and when he panics, he coughs up the ball. They need to get him better protection. I had them going Vera Tucker until, again, I had to adjust everything. So I actually have them taking Christian Darrisaw. It's a little high for Darrisaw, but the need, I feel, is going to force them to. They want to go O-line. They're going to convince themselves that Darrisaw is the way to go. And Taryn is going to cry when he comes back and listens because I know Taryn so wants Darrisaw in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Big ups to, by the way, big ups to Mr. Andrew Hagenbaugh and Mr. Davison Crooks in the chat room. I'll tell you what. Andrew says Giants are taking Micah Parsons. That could be big too. And by the way, big ups Davison Crooks. Tell us what you think, brother, for you listening, man. Okay, so jumping on in here, we got a pick number 12. I like it. Let's keep the pace going, guys. We're going fast. I'm loving it. We got to get to everything at the top of the hour, so let's just keep it rolling. The quicker, the better. Philadelphia Eagles, they will draft next. And overall, guys, I just see Jace Horn going. Why? Because he's one of the next best corners left. And overall, let's just be real, they need secondary as well. Like the secondary is a big place to address this season for a lot of teams, and I just feel like the Eagles, they have a lot of needs, but once again defensively. But then again, I think defensively all the time, guys. So yeah, why not secondary? So Mike, what you got?
Well, so I'm going to play a brief homage to our Philly sports talk show. The guys last night, I listened in on them, and they said that they are going to draft J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's cousin, C.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who doesn't exist, with the 12th overall pick. No, but I've got them going wide receiver here just because, yes, they drafted Jalen Ringer last year, but they still don't really have that much at wide receiver, and this team doesn't like to draft defense in the first round for some reason. They haven't drafted a linebacker in the first round in like 30 years. I would love to mock them taking Micah Parsons here, but, they just don't take linebackers in the first round. So I've got them taking the other Alabama receiver, Jalen Waddell, give them a deep threat. Jalen Rieger's a little bit more of a slot receiver. They've got a big physical receiver in Arcega-Whiteside. Waddell brings something a little bit different to the table. I don't really love the pick, but typically I don't really love most of the Eagles' picks. So, this is what it is.
Washington.
They're kind of bad at that.
They're really bad at that. I'm sorry. They are.
Harrison, who you got?
Yeah, man. So when it comes to the Eagles, I feel like their two biggest needs are they could really, really use a wide receiver, especially a dynamic one, in my opinion. And they also could use quarterback help as well, which seems to be a trend. That definitely seems to be a trend with a lot of the last couple of teams we've been talking about. But that seems to be where they're at right now. So I don't think there's any way Devonta Smith in any way, shape, or form is still on the board. I think Jalen Waddle could. And if Jalen Waddle's on the board, the Eagles eat that right up. They take Jalen Waddle almost immediately. They run up there, they sprint, they take Waddle. If Waddle's not on the board, it depends. There's two different ways they can go. If they're looking for a physical wide receiver, I would go with Rashad Bateman. That kid is massively underappreciated. That guy's going to be excellent at the next level, has wide receiver one written all over him. He's made unbelievable contested catches that I've seen, catches that he shouldn't have made in any way, shape, or form. But if they want to go with an athletic guy, more like a Jalen Waddle, I think would be interesting if Waddle's off the board. I could see them taking Kadarius Toney this side. I think that would be a good spot for Kadarius Toney to come in and be that dynamic, gadget, slot, outside, everything guy for them. If they choose to go with a cornerback, obviously, again, I think Surtain is off the board. I think Horn is off the board. An interesting option to them because they really need more of an outside guy. I think they could go with Caleb Farley here, depending on how the back checks out. If the back, if they're nervous about injury, then I think a really interesting pick here could either be Aaron Robinson at a UCF or potentially Tyson Campbell out of Georgia.
Good stuff. Okay, Adam, what you got?
I agree that wide receiver is the way to go for Philly. They've decided to commit to Jalen Hurts for better or for worse. He's their quarterback for right now. You got to get
Don't sleep on Hurts.
Well, that's a topic for another time. I still have Devonta Smith on my board. Smith is way better than the 12th overall guy, but again, people fall. Devonta Smith, for me, goes to Philly.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, guys, now I hate to do this, but we only got 45 minutes, so I'm going to start putting a timer. We got to make sure that we can stay within about a minute and 15 seconds per pick. So let's do it. 1 minute on the clock for myself, or 1:15 on the clock for myself. We'll probably have to drop to 1 minute, but that's fine. So here we go. Next pick up here, the Chargers. And, well, this one to me is a no-brainer. So my clock has begun, and here we go. So overall, guys, Chargers need a lot of help in a lot of different ways. But let's just be real. They got their guy. They got Herbert, and I'm so freaking glad that he's there. Even as a Raider fan, I'm glad that he's there. He's a heck of an athlete, and this guy he's awesome. And honestly, you know what? He's going to help this franchise out a lot. So they're going to need to help him out a lot. And I'm going to go with them picking my boy, man, a big monster out of USC offensive tackle, Elijah Vera Tucker. Beast, man. The guy is awesome, and I do believe he's going to make some noise, man. So, yeah, good stuff there. And there it goes. It's about a minute. So, 40 seconds for me. So, Mike, who you got?
Merry Christmas, Taryn. I've got the Los Angeles Chargers taking Christian Darrisaw. To me, the second best left tackle, not overall offensive lineman, but the second best left tackle in the draft. That's their biggest hole. I don't care about the rumors of moving Brian Bulaga over there. You don't move a 32-year-old right tackle over to left tackle and expect good results. I'm going to go with Darrisaw to solidify that left tackle spot. I don't know if he's got the upside of a Penei Sewell, but I think he could be a very solid left tackle for a long time in this league.
Okay, good stuff. Harrison, who you got?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, the Chargers, they have their quarterback. I was a big Herbert fan, said he was the best one in that last draft. Everyone's saying you're crazy, it's Burrow. I love that kid. They have good talent at wide receiver. They need offensive line. They need it bad. They could use an interior guy or a tackle. I don't think Rashad Slater falls this far. If he does, he's the obvious pick. I like Darrisaw. I mean, I don't like him that high, potentially, but he does, like Mike pointed out, he is a plug-and-play tackle from day one, so he could definitely be the pick there. If they go with an interior position, I think Vera Tucker is off the board at this point, but if Vera Tucker is there, that would be an excellent pick. If Vera Tucker's off the board, then an interesting option, potentially maybe a guy like Wyatt Davis would be a shock, but maybe he could go that high. Or, I would say offensive line. So it really depends on how the board falls, but I would say those are the top guys.
My goodness, look at that, 58 seconds. That's my boy, Harrison. That's my boy. Great job, man. Okay, Adam, who you got?
I agree that the Chargers absolutely are desperate to get their hands on a plug-and-play offensive lineman. They will probably, if it looks like there's going to be a run on them, I expect them to trade up. In my board, though, the plug-and-play offensive linemen are gone, so they have to look elsewhere. AFC West, you're going up against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Your secondary's got to be good. J.C. Horn from South Carolina, you can plug him in at defensive back, and you can help out the Chargers defense. So since there's no offensive lineman available, I go with J.C. Horn in mine.
Good.
I like that, Adam. I like that pick a lot. I really do.
Me too. So with that said, next up, guys, speaking of Darrisaw, he is a hell of a player, and overall, I know Slater, it's going to be either Slater or Darrisaw. I can say Darrisaw. Overall, he just seems like more of a Viking to me, another Virginia Tech player. But this is going to be pretty awesome. I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Darrisaw because, well, once again, they also need to address the offensive line very much so. So either him or Slater, we'll see which either. But it's kind of a toss-up for me there. So, Mike, who you got?
So this is interesting. Pick number 2 coming up here for the Minnesota Vikings. This is a little bit of a wild card, but this is a guy that's gaining a lot of traction right now, and I think he could sneak up some boards. I've got Trevon Moehrig, safety, going to Minnesota. Look, Minnesota has traditionally favored need in the first round over a ton of value. They've got a pretty big need at safety because Harrison Smith is turning 32 this year and they don't really have a great option next to him. I think this is a team that likes their defense, going back to the Purple People Eaters way back in the day. And I think if they want to get back to contending against and whatever the hell happens in Chicago and Detroit at quarterback, then they need to keep their secondary strong. So I've got Moehrig going to Minnesota at 14.
Good stuff.
Jury's still out on what happens at quarterback in Detroit and Chicago.
Very much so.
Who you got, Harrison?
I like the Morik pick, man. That's a good one. That's out of left field. I like that. With the Vikings, I feel like they need offensive line help like badly, but they really also need an edge rusher. So it really, again, like with everyone's pick, depends how the board falls. I feel like an edge rusher here, if Kwity Paye is still on the board, he's an excellent pick for the Minnesota Vikings. If he's not on the board, I think they could go with Greg Rousseau, and that would be a good pick here as well. I definitely think probably one of those two guys would be the Minnesota Vikings pick.
Okay, good stuff there.
Or actually, you know what? I would maybe also, just throwing in, I'd maybe say Jalen Phillips too. One of those three guys.
Okay, how about that? Okay, so Adam, how about that, man? What you got?
I love that all four of us have four different guys at this. I think it's a first for us. I also have the Vikings looking defense, but I'm looking in the front seven. As much as it's a passing league, if you can't stop the run, teams will run against you. The Vikings gave up over 2,100 rushing yards last year, and over 4.5 opponents were averaging over 4.5 yards per carry against them. So I have them looking at getting a run stopper. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame is somebody that can plug in at linebacker and help shore up that run defense.
I love it. That's exactly the reason why I think you need to stop people. Last year, this defense did it with hardly anybody. This year, a lot of them are coming back. I know they lost Edelman, and that's a tough go, but damn it, if you got a defense, as I always say, y'all, if they don't score, we don't lose. That's what my old coaches tell me in high school. I heard it throughout college, and it's the truth. Call me crazy. Because, well, crazy is kind of something I've been called before. Micah Parsons to the New England Patriots. Yes, I'm absolutely insane. Mike, go.
I actually agree with you, Larry. Look, the top wide receivers are off the board. The top quarterbacks are on the board. I'm going to throw a bet out there and say New England doesn't end up picking 15. I think they either trade up to get a quarterback, or if the quarterbacks and receivers are gone, they're backing out of this spot. But because this team loves to move on draft night. But if they stay put, Micah Parsons, hey, if all else fails, just build a bomb-ass defense and try to stop people.
That's it. Harrison, who you got?
It's actually kind of funny because I was actually leaning the same way. So I guess all three of us are pretty much in alignment here, which is awesome. I mean, when I look at the Patriots, I feel like edge rusher as well as off-the-ball linebacker is a big need for them, which is interesting.
Yes.
So if they choose to go with an edge rusher,
yes,
I think that Paye's going to be gone by now. I think he's the better of the two. Yeah. So I think possibly either Micah Parsons could be here or Owusu-Koramoah if they're going off-ball linebacker-wise. The nice thing about Parsons is a better rusher than Owusu-Koramoah, but I personally think Owusu-Koramoah is the best linebacker in this draft. He won the Butkus Award for a reason. He was one of the best linebackers in coverage. Other than Parsons being better, being a pass rusher, I think Owusu-Koramoah wins in every other category, but that's kind of what the Patriots need. So I'm kind of leading between going with like a Rousseau Paye if they're on the board, or going Micah Parsons.
Great job. Okay, Adam?
I agree with Harrison's sentiment. I think Owusu-Koramoah is the best off-ball linebacker in this draft.
Yeah.
I think Parsons is better a little bit closer to the line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who you got, Adam?
Well, in my board, there are still two quarterbacks available. So I agree with Mike that I expect the Patriots to move. I actually would expect them to trade back more than trade up, because Belichick is smart and he knows the value is always in trading back than trading up. So, but on my board, I still have two quarterbacks available. So as much as it pains me to say this, they take Justin Fields. And then they take over the AFC East for another decade.
No, don't say that. Yeah, boom.
I know. I don't like it, but it's there, and it makes sense, and Belichick's smart.
And it's Belichick. Number 16 overall pick, Arizona Cardinals. Guys, Greg Newsome II's a freaking monster. He's not like a top 10er, but my goodness, if he falls the Cardinals need all kinds of stuff. The offense isn't that bad no more, but they can't stop anybody. So yeah, because to me, it makes sense. What do you got, Mike?
Well, so it's interesting. I still have a lot of great defenders on my board because I just looked at it. 13 of my first 14 picks are offense. So I still have a lot of great defenders on the board. I've got J.C. Horn still on the board, actually. Hey. So I'm going to go with J.C. Horn to Arizona because their cornerbacking core is thin. It's got the wrong combination of veteran and youth. not quite working together. They're in a division with Russell Wilson and Matt Stafford, and according to my mock draft, Mac Jones. So they're going to be able to need to stop 2 out of those 3. I've got them taking J.C. Horn.
Good stuff. Okay, we got Harrison.
Yeah, so with the Cardinals, I do agree their secondary is quite porous. They do need cornerback help. I don't think J.C. Horn falls this far. I mean, the Patriots could even take him, potentially, if he's on the board with the Patriots pick. I really don't see him falling this far. He's way too talented. But if he does, easy pick for the Cardinals. Easy pick there, taking Horn. If Horn is off the board, then some interesting options could be potentially, you mentioned Greg Newsome. Newsome and Farley I'm very hesitant on with the injuries because they both have different ones, but there's a bad injury history there. So they both make me wary with such high picks. But either one could be the pick there. Either one could definitely be the pick at corner. Interesting one that's been flying up boards that I think, could surprise people with being a high pick could be guys like Eric Stokes, maybe even Asante Samuel or Aaron Robinson, Tyson Campbell are all guys that are a little higher there, but really it depends who's available.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. Adam, who you got?
Arizona for me is weird. The way my board fell, there's not really a whole lot of, they should, this is an obvious pick for them. So I'd expect them, honestly, to trade back if the board falls this way for them. I have them taking Jalen Waddle. I know wide receiver is not an obvious need for them because they got A.J. Green, they have DeAndre Hopkins, they have Christian Kirk. But you can never have too many weapons. And so to have another guy to... Kyler Murray, another weapon, another toy for him to play with. Fantasy owners won't like that because it'll decrease all their wide receivers' values. But in real life football, how do you defend that? So I go with Waddle.
Good stuff. Okay, so nice work. Overall, next up, my 17th overall, next up, my Las Vegas Raiders. Oh, what happened?
Taryn's back.
I am back.
Oh, boy. Taryn, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, so you all are in Arizona. I got Christian Barmore going to the Cardinals.
Nice. Another good pick. Okay, so now Taryn's back. We're going to have to go like 40 seconds per, guys. So let's just keep it going. But great stuff there, Taryn, and welcome back, brother. 17th overall pick, my Las Vegas Raiders. They dismantled the offensive line. Way to go. That's just a Raider thing to do. Anyway...
Oh, here we go.
They make me sick. Regardless, I'm just going to say Alex Leatherwood comes to this team to try and do something, even though we need a lot more than him. He's going to be a step in the right direction. Please help us. Alabama's Alex Leatherwood, big boy, offensive lineman. They got him listed as the guard and tackle here from Alabama. Please help us. Mike, who you got?
Merry Christmas to another AFC West team. I have a surprise offensive lineman falling this far. He probably won't, but this is just the way my board worked out. Elijah Vera Tucker is still on my board, and I think if he's there for Oakland, what did you say, Adam, earlier, Adam? Move, get out the way?
Vegas.
That's what Oakland's doing.
Move, boys, get out the way.
Vegas.
If Vera Tucker's there.
Vegas.
Vegas, whatever.
Who you got, Harrison?
Yeah, man. So with the Raiders, there's one guy that I really love him to mention when we get to the Jets. We talked about it before, Wusu Koromoa. Jets need linebackers like bad. They really, even if Mosley's a question mark, they actually don't have any, really, unfortunately. So I really like him. I feel like the Raiders are a really good spot for him to go. I've seen him mocked a lot of times to the Raiders, and it makes sense because they could use an off-ball linebacker, especially a guy of his kind of talent and his, field vision, coverage ability, lateral field-to-field ability. So I like him there, potentially, Owusu Koromoa. But again, like you mentioned, the Vegas Raiders definitely need offensive line help as well. I'm not as high on Alex Leatherwood as most. I think if they did go offensive line, an interesting pick here, I think they're better off with a tackle. I'm thinking either Samuel Cosme or Tevin Jenkins.
That's a great pick, and I'm an idiot because, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to go Slater because I have him on my board still, so I'm going to pick him because I think...
Slater's there. Ooh, that's easy.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Easier than Vera Tucker.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, I didn't think that. Yeah, so I have still on my board, so yeah, I'm going Slater. I'm sorry, I changed my pick. Okay, Adam, who you got?
Slater is not on my board, so we don't have to worry about that. So I'm going oddball. I'm going to go defense here. The Raiders, Larry, you have to go up not against Patrick Mahomes twice a year, but you also have to go up against Justin Herbert twice a year.
Yep.
Your secondary needs work. You guys gave up 4,200 yards in the air last year. Ain't going to cut it. Trayvon Mooring, safety to Vegas, and hopefully that helps shore up the defense a little bit.
I like it. Taryn, who you got?
I picked Elijah Vera Tucker, one, because he's a USC guy, and I know you and I are both USC fans, and two, the Raiders' O-line needs to be rebuilded, and why not get some young blood into that O-line to protect Derek Carr / Marcus Mariota?
I like it. Okay, so Harrison, is this your exit, brother, or are you still with us for tonight, man?
Let me find out. I can actually stay till. Oh, cool. Okay, he said he actually wants to start at 9.
Perfect.
So let's keep going.
That's
let's
right when we're off. We're right off. We have a half an hour, guys, to get through these picks. So let's dart through these things. Next up, the Miami. That's right. The Miami Dolphins. It's not.
Dolphins second one.
They have another freaking pick. Well, if that's the case, then I'm going Travis Etienne. Why? Because he's actually a really good running back. And why? Because Miami doesn't seem to know what to do with running back. So hopefully this one won't become somebody they just give away. So overall, I think this would be a good pick for these guys, and they got their quarterback. In my opinion, they got a receiver again, so why not just continue to build the offense and try really hard to face that AFC East? So overall, that's what I got going there. All right, Mike, who you got? 40 seconds, brother. Who you got?
I love the idea of running back here. I think Etienne or Najee Harris would both be great picks. I have them taking the first edge player in Kwity Paye out of Michigan.
Nice.
He actually measured a little smaller at his pro day, which I think actually works in his favor here because Miami runs the 3-4, so I think he fits great as that 3-4 edge rusher. I think it'll really help their front seven a ton.
I like it, Harrison.
The fact that Paye came in smaller, man, that just showed me this dude. I'm telling you, this guy's got like 0% body fat. Like he's the guy you want like on a muscle commercial. Like this guy is ripped. He's a gym rat. He's gonna blow past everybody. Man, like I said, he reminds me of Carl Lawson. That's an excellent pick. Whoever gets paid, that kid's going to play nasty, and that kid's going to be a monster and a problem for a lot of offensive tackles. With the Dolphins, with their first pick, it depends if they went offensive lineman or wide receiver. That's the interesting way I think they can go. If they went offensive lineman there, then I think they're going to go wide receiver here, and I think a really good option for them would either be Rashad Bateman or Tony if they're still on the board. If neither of them on the board, then I like Terrace Marshall Jr. for them. Let's say they went wide receiver early and now they're going to go offensive line. Then a good direction I would like to see them go potentially is they really need more of an interior, but there's not a lot of great names that high. I think they could shock and maybe take Wyatt Davis, but also at the same time, because the Dolphins do need, interior lineman help. I hate to say because this is my guy and he's a sleeper of mine. I think this is one place where Creed Humphrey could come off the board.
Good job, right at the buzzer. That's a heck of a pick right there. Adam, who you got?
The Dolphins have two big objectives for this first round. Protect Tua Tagovailoa and get to the other team's quarterbacks. The Dolphins, surprisingly, finished in the top 10 in the NFL in sacks, but they don't have a guy. Kwity Paye will be the guy that other teams will have to game plan and go for. I like Kwity Paye at 18 here to the Dolphins.
That is a nice pick, too. Okay, next up, Taryn, 40 seconds, brother. Who you got?
Actually, and I can't believe I put this guy down here, I have them taking Christian Darrisaw. I think he could be one of the few guys that takes a little dip in the draft. Again, I had to reshuffle the draft, but I think the O-line kind of also needs work for the Dolphins just to protect Tua or... Yeah, Tua, because Fitzmagic is no longer there. He's on the football team. But I think the O-line needs work, and that's why I have Christian Darrisaw or Elijah Vera Tucker.
Good pick. Next up, we got the 19th overall pick, Mike Pat's Washington football team. And overall, guys, this is short and sweet for me. They have the defensive line from heck. Let's just be real. They've drafted so many great defensive linemen. They still got Kerrigan there, I think. They're beastie, man. And why not add this guy into it? Screw it. I know the offense is dwindling, but it's what it is, guys. They're doing the defensive thing, and I love it. I'm going to go Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame, because he's still on my board. Michael, you got?
Well, there are three guys that I would want the Washington to draft if they don't trade up to get one of the quarterbacks, and that would be Darrisaw, Parsons, or Owusu-Koramoah. Now, Parsons and Darisaw are off the board. So that leaves one guy, conveniently. Koromora. Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, I think he's the best off-ball linebacker. And I think if we add a little bit of speed and sideline-to-sideline playmaking to that front seven, we'll definitely have the best defense in the division, but it might be top 5 in the NFL.
I like it. Harrison, who you got, brother?
Yeah, I think Washington doesn't need a linebacker, Owusu Koromoa, because I've been tracking him because that's the kind of guy I'm hoping he falls to 23. 19 is a possible option there. I mean, it could happen, but I look at it, obviously Washington needs a quarterback like you can't even imagine, and they also, I feel like, need an offensive tackle. I feel like they really need offensive tackle help. So if they choose to go the offensive line route, I really like potentially, if they're still on the board, Cosmi could be a good pick here. Tevin Jenkins could be a good pick. A sleeper, interesting too, that they could potentially go with, or actually 3, would be actually 2, would be either Leon Eichenberg or Jalen Mayfield. That would be an out of left field one that I think could maybe be the pick there if they choose to go with an offensive lineman. But if they go with that quarterback, obviously all the big guys are off the board right now. Mac Jones could potentially still be here. If he's there, he could be the pick. I think Kyle Trask could potentially be the pick here too. I think there's a chance and he may not fall out of the first.
Okay. So Harrison, good pick there for the Washington football team. Okay, Andrew. Oh yeah, Andrew. My goodness, Andrew was in the chat room earlier. Adam, what you got?
That's okay. I have a nephew, Andrew. It works. It's okay. Well, Merry Christmas, Mike. You guys need a quarterback. There is a quarterback left on my board. I have the Washington Registered Trademarks taking Trey Lance at this spot.
That's a good pick.
And he can sit behind Fitzpatrick for as long as they need to and get himself up to speed.
That's a good pick. Taryn, who you got,
Thank
man?
you, Sensei.
So I kind of went down the weird route, and I have Washington taking Rashad Bateman, a wide receiver. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but
Rashad Bateman's a great pick.
Yeah, but I think a wide receiver could benefit them in case something, heaven forbid, happens. And Fitzmagic loves his wide receivers. Like, he could make nothing out of something. Like, he could take an underhanded throw and it would be returned for a touchdown or a huge gain for a first down. So I think Rashad Bateman would be perfect, in my opinion.
Good pick. So we got 12 picks to get through in about 20 minutes. Gentlemen, I know we can do it. The Chicago Bears. This is simple. This is simple for me. I mean, you guys need a big boy, Adam. I'm sorry. You guys need some help. With the offense needs some kind of help. And the first sign I feel, you guys want to just fill in the big boys. I'm taking Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State. I just feel like he makes sense. Who you got for us, Mike?
So I've got one really good corner left on the board, Caleb Farley, and I think, Kyle Fuller's no longer in town, so they need some help in that secondary. And if Farley's there, I know there are some injury concerns, but I think if Farley's there, that would be a great pick.
Okay, who you got, Harrison?
Yeah, for me, I would agree, Larry. I'd say I think offensive line is a big need for the Chicago Bears, especially whoever their quarterback's going to wind up being. They specifically need better offensive line play. I mean, I feel like guys like Derek Tucker, all of them are off the board. I like the idea of Tevin Jenkins. I think Cosmi could be a good pick here. An interesting option could be they could choose to go wide receiver, potentially get another body there, And if that's the case, Rashad Bateman could be on the board at this pick. That would be an excellent one. I think Tony's off the board. Terrace Marshall could be an interesting one. But if they want to go with a smaller slot guy, either of the Moores, either Elijah or Rondell, those could all be really good, interesting picks here.
I like it. Those are good ones, guys. Good picks. That's some good stuff there, Harrison. I like it, and I think we definitely agree about the O-line. All right, Adam, this is your team. How about your Bears, man?
Oh God! Do we have to talk about my Bears? We have to. It's obligated.
They've got a first-round pick.
Yeah, for the first time in forever. I was just talking about this last night on Chi-Town Weekly. I had my Bears beat reporter buddy Sean Hammond on, and we were talking about this. He really, really likes the idea of going for an offensive line, which makes a ton of sense. The Bears' 3 biggest needs outside of quarterback are all offensive line, wide receiver, and corner, which those 3 positions happen to be the deepest ones in this class. I have them going with Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech at corner. They just got rid of Kyle Fuller for cash reasons, so being able to replace him, wide receiver makes a ton of sense. Kadarius Toney makes sense. Going with Terrence Marshall also makes sense. Trading up, of course, for a quarterback makes a ton of sense. Going with an offensive lineman also makes sense. I did have Tevin Jenkins still available on my board, but I went best player available and Caleb Farley at corner.
Awesome. Well, I just saw Justin and Davidson Crooks both pop in, so we're going to have to start going real short with our picks, but we have to add these gentlemen in, and they're going to talk about their team a little bit as well. So, Taryn, finish off that pick for us, man.
I have Chicago taking Terrace Marshall. Well, is it Terrace or Terrence? Either way, I have him taking the LSU wide receiver, Terrace Marshall. It would be a great benefit for whoever's throwing for the Bears. And I think he's a great wide receiver coming out of LSU. I don't know if he had too much receptions as Jamar Chase, but I think he has a great foundation and he'll make a great contribution for the Bears.
I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't script this kind of stuff. I hope they haven't been in the chat room very long, but ladies and gentlemen listening and gentlemen here in the chat room, this is pretty awesome. The Colts have the 21st pick, and the Titans have the 22nd pick, and funny enough, Justin Lahr, a Colts fan, and of course, the host of our Indiana sports show here on IE Sports Radio, High Octane Entertainment, and Davidson Crooks, of course, he is the co-host of Fast Break, our basketball show, along with Dontarius Locke, Mr. Davidson Crooks. He's a Titans fan, so it's just kind of funny that they land up next to each other and they actually join in right now. So we'll go ahead and let them start things off. Justin, welcome to the show, brother. Glad to have you, man. Indianapolis Colts, 21st pick. I'm going to have them taking Jalen Phillips because they got Buckner. Why not? I miss the Freeney Mathis days, man. So you know what? Maybe this could be 2.0. I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
I'm right there with you. Honestly, though, it's anybody's guess what Ballard does because we know he loves his picks. He's probably going to end up trading back. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But I really think they have kind of pigeonholed themselves a little bit in this first round. They either are going to be looking for that edge rush or that left tackle spot. You got to find somebody for Costanzo. He's way better than people gave him credit for. We're going to realize that, I think, day one, regardless of who they get to fill that spot, just how good he was. So we'll see. There's definitely a couple options out there. I'm of the edge rush crowd, though. My guy would be Jason Owe out of Penn State. He's just a freak of nature, a 4.38 40-yard dash, 95th percentile or better in vertical jump, broad jump, three-cone, and short shuttle. So he is like a freak of nature. The problem is there's not a whole lot of tape on him, though. So just because of everything they've had to deal with, last season. But if it were me, it would be kind of that left field curveball with this. I'm going to go with the freak of nature and trust that Mathis and company, since he's on staff, will strike lightning with this kid.
I like it. Okay, he's the only one. Only for your teams can you take longer than the time. I like that. So that's good stuff there. So, Mike, 30 seconds, man. I know it sucks, but we're getting the room full. I'm loving it. But 30 seconds, Mike. Who you got?
I got Jalen Phillips. I think they bolster that edge rush. Could go offensive tackle here with the Tevin Jenkins, Alex Leatherwood, Jalen Mayfield, all the names you've mentioned. But I think the value right here is D-line, and it's Jalen Phillips.
All right, I'm loving it. Harrison, who you got, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm on the same idea, but just adding another position in. I think their biggest needs are along the offensive line, specifically the tackle position. I think, Tevin Jenkins could still be there. He'd be a really good pick. I really like Jalen Mayfield a lot. I think he'd be an excellent pick there for the Colts as well. If they do choose to go with an edge rusher, potentially, then, I think, honestly, Azeez Ujulari would be an excellent pick here because I think Rousseau's off the board. I think Phillips is off the board. I like Osai, but I like Ujulari better. I think he would be an excellent fit there. But the other position I think is in need of the Colts is actually cornerback. They really could use one. So Newsome and Farley are both, in my opinion, will fall because of the injuries, which will make them question marks and keep teams hesitant on them. So I think either one of them would be a potential good pick here. Otherwise, because I think they need more of an outside guy, this would be a good play for Tyson Campbell as well.
Good pick there as well. Adam, who you got, man? Okay, I think Adam dipped. Just kidding. Adam, where you at, brother? You there?
I think she wants to make the pick.
Oh, okay.
She does want to make the pick for us. So
I didn't
my
even
daughter
see her.
came into the chat to say hi.
Hi.
I see her.
Say hi, Gracie.
Hi, Gracie.
All right.
I'm going to the other room.
All right. So
I want to go.
I've got for the Colts, I've got them taking a wide receiver. I've got Kadarius Toney falling to them. I could see the Bears taking him at 20, as I said before, but I think getting Carson Wentz some weapons to help them try to take over the South is a good option for them.
That's a good pick. Okay, so next up, Taryn, who you got for us, brother?
I have the Colts selecting Tevin Jenkins because you can never have too much offensive line protection. And the last thing Carson Wentz needs is another bad injury. So give me Tevin Jenkins to the Colts.
Okay.
You're welcome.
And Davidson Crooks, how about this, man? Your rival team, you got 30 seconds. Who they taking?
I think, the read around Nashville and whatnot, it's going to be Elijah Moore.
Good pick. Good pick.
I think you need somebody going on A.J. Brown. You need somebody consistent at receiver core. I'm tired of seeing, the no-name guys, they trotting out at their receiver. Get a name guy, get a guy who can produce, do work. If he's not there, I like the corner from Northwestern. Either one of those two guys I like, but I think, the read right now is, the kid from Ole Miss, Elijah Moore.
Good stuff, right at the buzzer. Okay, so with that said, next up, the Tennessee Titans. Davidson, you're going back-to-back, man. It's like a fantasy draft, and you're at the end, brother. I mean, how's it going? You're going back-to-back picks here. You got your Tennessee Titans. Of course, I got to throw mine in there first, man, because I just think Kadarius Toney is a heck of a pickup for you guys, man. You guys fell from grace last year, and it wasn't because of Henry. I'm just saying. So that's my pick for you guys. I just felt the defense is there. I don't know what happened last year, but I think Tony's a great pickup for you guys. So who are you taking? Who are you guys taking? The Titans, Davidson. Who about, man?
I think, like I said, Elijah Moore. That's my thinking. I mean, the Newsom kid from Northwestern, he could do it, could be there. Me preferably, kind of like Chris Ballard. John Robinson is a guy who may trade back later on, so I won't be surprised if that happens and pick up some, for this team because, like you mentioned, defense kind of lacking. You need some fillers behind offense as well. There's a lot of things right now with this team. Good team, but not like in line depth. But Elijah Moore's pick for me.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, so next up, let's see here. We have, of course, so rapid fire, y'all. Once again, we got 30 seconds on the clock. So, Mike, start us off, man. 30 seconds. Who are the Tennessee Titans taking?
I'm with you, Larry. I got Kadarius Toney. I agree with Davidson. I think they need more weapons. A.J. Brown is a great receiver, but he can't do it on its own. You get him a nice complementary guy, can work outside in the slot, really open up this team to let Derrick Henry just run through people.
Good stuff. All right, Harrison, who you got? 30 seconds.
It's funny, I'm with you guys, man. With the Titans, I was thinking they need a wide receiver, but more of a dynamic, explosive guy, especially a guy that can play within that slot position. I don't have Kadarius Toney on my board at this spot. I mean, I think I don't view him as an outside guy like a lot of people do. I feel like he lacks the physicality to really succeed as an outside wide receiver, but I think he's going to be one of the best slot guys in short notice. In short time, he's going to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. If he's on the board, he's the obvious pick. If not, I like the two Moores, both explosive playmaking interior guys, either Elijah Moore or Rondell Moore. So one of those three guys. A left field one would be if they may choose to, go for an interior offensive line guy, seal up that offensive line, make it a little better. I think they could go with Creed Humphrey.
Good stuff. Okay, Adam, who you got?
All right, Davidson, I want to watch your face for this reaction to this one here.
Uh-oh.
The Titans only got 19 sacks last year as a team. You got to be able to get to the other team's quarterback. I have them taking Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. He's raw, but 14 sacks the last 2 years. That game's going to play.
I like it. Taryn, who you got?
So I got the Titans taking Creed Humphrey just because I think it would just be beneficial for their O-line. I don't know who their quarterback is going to be. Obviously, it's going to be Tannehill, but you can't have too much offensive line help, and I think Humphrey could pave the way for Derrick Henry having big holes, because Henry really did struggle in that game against the Ravens. So I think Creed Humphrey.
Good stuff. Okay, guys, it's going to be a strict 30 seconds now. We're going to go rapid fire. We got all these picks to get through. We got 10 picks to get through in about 10 minutes. Yeah, I know it's kind of undoable. We're going to probably go a little bit over the time, but do your best. Let's go rapid fire and get through these picks. Next up, the New York Jets yet again. Short and simple, guys. Caleb Ferry. The guy's a very good corner. He's who I have left on the board, and why not? They haven't had a dominant corner since Revis, so I really, really want to see this defense get better, especially in secondary. That's what I'm picking, so there you go, Harrison. All right, who you got for us, Mike?
So you've already gotten your quarterback. Now you go and you get him a toy. You get him a little bit of help. You get him somebody who can kind of take some of the pressure off. And a young quarterback's best friend, he's got three best friends. His center, his tight end, and his running back. And so I think if you really want to give a nice, strong run game up there in New York, you go with Najee Harris, allow you to grind the ball a little bit, ease some of the pressure off that young quarterback, and hopefully keep you in some games.
All righty, Harrison, who you got?
Yes, this is my pick, man. This is my team. This is what I was waiting for. Unfortunately, after this, I do got to have to dip out. So I have to dip out after we talk about this. But this is the pick I was waiting for, man. 23. Jets have 2 first-round picks this year. Now, Larry, you mentioned corner. Mike, you mentioned running back. I think the Jets, especially after free agency, are significantly better at wide receiver and running back than people are giving them credit for. They have a lot of talent there. Wide receiver, you got Davis and Mims, Crowder in the slot. Keelan Cole's the 4th guy. A lot of talent options to throw to. Running back, you have a committee, and that's how Saleh works. He uses that committee, and they all complement each other really well. I think that running stable is underappreciated. If I go with positional talent, it's later on. Football is always won and lost through the trenches. That's always how it is. Yes. And Joe knows that. That's his philosophy. Same with me. He went out in free agency and built the defensive trenches, and he built them big. Got guys like Lawson, Rankins, Curry, but the offense still needs to be addressed, and he's going to do that in the draft, just like he did with taking Mekhi Becton last year. The only way I would look at not taking Creed Humphrey, because that's been my guy. Like, I'm all over Creed. Like, I love this kid. People say he's not a first-round talent. Makes no sense to me. He's one of the best pass-blocking centers in this draft, but not just that. I call him a cerebral center. People compare him to Nick Mangold. That's who I've compared him to. How many times, we saw Nick Mangold calling out defensive alignments, calling out shifts, kicking the guard's ass for not playing better, helping the quarterback out, making those plays. It's a second quarterback on the field. It's such an important position. And Creed Humphrey is one of those rare cerebral centers that doesn't get enough credit. I've been championing him for a long time now, like a really long time. Like, I don't get how people don't think he's a first-round talent guy. I don't get why people have him so low. We'd be lucky if we can get him at 23. The only guys I would go with potentially is J.C. Horn, who I don't think is going to be on the board, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who I don't think is going to be on the board. If they're there, my plan is I'm getting on the phone with the Steelers. I'm offering them 34, 86, and 155 to come back up to 24 and get Creed too. And now 2 of those guys kill the draft, nail it after round 1, 3 elite talents. But I have a feeling Owusu-Koramoah and Horn are going to be gone, so my pick is Creed Humphrey. You get that cerebral center that's going to grow with Zach Wilson, make the guard play better, kick McGovern to guard, who's a better run blocker anyway. That's where he belongs. You get a guy like Humphrey who's a good pass blocker, but more important, that cerebral center. That's rare in the NFL, and he's the only one in this draft.
Great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Glazer, man, the host of the Show That Never Sleeps podcast here on IE Sports Radio, along with Mr. Pierre Moss. He does amazing things. Harrison, Davis had already made his exit. I want to give him a proper exit, but he probably had to bounce. But with that said, Harrison, it has been great having you on tonight's show, man. Can you let everybody know where to find you, brother?
Definitely. I own my own company. It's called Take Flight Media. There we do a lot of jet writing, jet reporting. We do interviews. Check us out. The site is takeflightmedia.org. I have a couple of writers that write for me there as well. On Twitter, you can find me at NYJets, TF Media. Find a lot of jet information, a lot of takes, a lot of stat analysis, draft analysis, all of it. And I have my own podcast I do that on Mondays. It's called the Take Flight Spit and Fire Podcast. You can find it on YouTube. We're live every Monday at 7 p.m. A lot of fun. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me. Love talking about these prospects. And yeah, it's tomorrow, baby. Draft is coming, and I can't wait.
Let's do it. Hey, thanks a lot, Harrison. We'll see you soon, brother. Take care, man.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Alrighty. So next up we have let's see here. So Adam, how about them Jets, man?
Yeah, so the Jets, their roster is full of holes. They're the Swiss cheese team. They need everything everywhere. So I have them taking Greg Newsome at corner. He'll be able to slide right into the starting corner spot. This is a good spot for him overall at 23 overall, and he's somebody that new defensive coach Robert Saleh is going to really like.
I like it. Taryn, who you got?
I got the Jets taking Aziz Ujulari because their defense kind of needs to be buffered up, especially in a division where they're facing the Patriots, the Bills, and the Dolphins. Like, the Jets are loading up for this season, but the question is can they cover their bases at their specific needs? And I think Ujulari benefits them defensively.
Great job, man. Right at the buzzer. Okay, so next up we got, we got one more, of course. Justin's still with us, brother. So Justin, 30 seconds on the clock, man. How about them Jets?
Oh man, I can't even break it down like that. I gotta after Kevin Spitfire.
Oh, Harrison.
Harrison. I'm sorry, that guy. Wow, just incredible. All of his breakdowns. Honestly, all you guys, the way you're breaking this stuff down. Just incredible. I got to be honest. Like, I pretty much just break down my team because I'm a homer like that. And the way you guys have been breaking this down, mad props to you guys. I'm learning so much. So I'm just going to go with the picks that have already been said for these same exact reasons as a huge cop out.
I'm loving it. Well
played, Justin. Well played.
Well played, brother. Well played. Well played. Well, with that said, Justin, I mean, do you want to? I don't know if you got a bunch of time, brother, but we got a few more picks left, man. Do you want to make your exit, or you want to stick along for a little bit?
You know what? I will listen and learn. How about that?
Oh, that sounds like fun. All right, well, Justin's going to stay with us. He does not make picks. Okay, that sounds fun. All right, so pick number 24. We got 30 seconds each on the clock. Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a no-brainer. They need people in the offense. They can't seem to hold anybody on the offense. I'm just kidding. Juju's doing his best over there. Connor, Big Ben, but my goodness, they need more help back there in the running back position. Najee Harris makes so much sense. A big monster. Let's see what he can do in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to be taking him at 24. Mike, who you got?
Well, see, I would have Najee Harris going here, but I just had him going to the Jets, so I have to do a spin. This is interesting pick number 3. For me right here. I actually have linebacker Zaven Collins out of UCLA going here. He's got excellent size. He may not be an elite rusher, but he's got the size and length to hold up and as that edge player in that 3-4 scheme opposite of TJ Watt. He can hold against the run, and he can even cover a little bit. So I think it would be an interesting little twist on the traditional play of the position. But Pittsburgh likes their versatile defenders. They almost always take defense in round 1, and so I've got them going with Collins.
Okay, good.
God, Collins just looks like a Steeler, too.
He does. Continue, Adam.
I have them also going with Najee Harris. I'd love to get Ben Metello's take on this from the Yinzer Report. From stuff I have been hearing, the Steelers, their fan base especially, is so in love with this kid. They want the Steelers to trade up to make sure they get him. They haven't had a running back since Le'Veon Bell that's really been a 3-down workhorse back. Harris will be that. Najee Harris, no doubt about it.
I completely agree. Taryn?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. Najee Harris. If he's gone, I'd have them taking Travis Etienne. But Najee Harris is going to be the first running back, in my opinion, going to the Steelers. The Steelers need all the running back help they can get. So give me Najee Harris on the Steelers.
Pick number 25.
And running backs are falling now, too, because they're just not valued as much. So it's very possible that he'll be there.
It is very possible. So pick number 25, Jacksonville Jaguars. They need all kinds of help everywhere. But you know what? I don't know. The Jaguars are a special case, guys. So I'm just gonna go. They're gonna go defensive line. I'm gonna pick the big boy Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Why? Because Alabama's defensive line is beastie, and that's really all there is to it. They need somebody to help out there, and my goodness, they have holes all over the place, as we heard a little bit ago. But Jaguars, I got them picking Christian Barmore. Michael, you got?
Well, once again, we have a team that has taken a quarterback, and now you need to help that quarterback. I have this guy. All indications are he may go earlier than this, but he's still on my board. So I have offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins here. I don't know why they picked up the 5th-year option on Cam Robinson, they franchised. I don't know why they franchised Cam Robinson, because by all means, he's been an average left tackle. They need to address the tackle position, and I think if Jenkins is on the board, then that is a no-brainer pick for them.
Okay, next up, Adam, who you got?
Mike, you literally read my script. The Jaguars, they got their quarterback. Now they got to protect him. Tevin Jenkins makes all the sense in the world. He might ultimately wind up being a better fit as a right tackle than a left tackle, but either way, it's an improvement for the Jaguars. Tevin Jenkins.
Okay.
By the way, Adam, in all fairness, I do have a copy of your mock draft.
So you are reading my script.
I'm borrowing a few of your ideas.
This is great. This is great.
Well, I'm glad I'm somewhat intelligent then. Thank you.
This is great. Taryn, who you got?
I got the Jaguars taking Kwity Paye. Why? Because Jacksonville needs to revive Saxonville in a different way, and I think Paye will pay off for the Jaguars. Sounds like an interesting pick, but I think the Jaguars need help defensively in the worst way.
Great stuff, man. The Cleveland Browns, the 26th overall pick. Guys, you guys are going to call me insane. I know they need defense, but gosh dang it, if he's still there, and this is my draft, if he's still there, why not? I have the freaking Browns. I know. Get ready for this one. It's going to be pretty fun. I have the Cleveland Browns somehow, some way, and can you imagine this offense if he actually goes there?
Get to it, Larry. Come on. We're on the edge of our seats here.
I'm going Elijah Moore, guys. How you like that? How's that pick for you, man? That would be awesome. Why would they not take him? If he's still there, guys, he's an amazing wide receiver, guys. And I'm sorry, he's just good, okay? And he's a big body. He's somebody there. Baker would love him there. I know they need defense, but my goodness, guys, the Browns could really... They almost had it last year. They had the Chiefs on the ropes. So I'm just saying that would be major. If he's still there. I doubt he will be, but if he's still there. Mike, who you got, man?
Well, I think wide receiver is probably higher up on the Browns' priority than many people are giving credit for, given the Odell Beckham Jr. situation. I have them taking Christian Barmore out of Alabama. He's the best defensive tackle, in my opinion, in this class. They just released Sheldon Richardson. I think it was one of their top defensive tackles. Doesn't leave them with a ton of options on the defensive interior, and we know they have been building that defense up. It's very quietly might be the best in the division, and one of the better ones in the league. So I think Barmore's the final piece. Still a little raw, but should provide some nice pass rush.
Okay, how about you, Mr. Adam?
I also have the Browns going defense. I actually have them taking Mike's pick a little bit earlier from the Steelers. I have Zaven Collins going to Cleveland. The Browns need help at linebacker. They've signed some guys in free agency, but it's been more quantity rather than quality. Collins will give them some more quality help at inside linebacker and should help them out.
Great pick. Taryn, who you got?
I actually agree with Adam. I got Zaven Collins going to the Browns because they need linebacker help, and he pretty much read my mock draft, and that's who the Browns need. So
nope, that's still me, Taryn.
Whatever. Still, Zaven Collins to the Browns because the Browns need linebacker help. And their defense will get a boost.
The Baltimore Ravens are about as defense gets. Guys, I just don't see them not going defense. I'm going Trevon Moehrig, safety out of TCU. The guy's actually a really good safety, and you know what? They haven't had a very, very, very good secondary in a couple of years. So you know what? Maybe he can be the piece to help him out. So I got him going to the Ravens. Who you got there, Mike?
I mean, if Moehrig is there, then that's the pick, because I think he's a very talented safety. I have them going edge rusher, because to me, if you look at this roster, edge rusher is far and away the biggest need. A guy who can just pin his ears back and just get after the quarterback. And to me, one of the best ones in this draft is Azeez Ojulari coming out of Georgia. A little bit undersized, but again, he's that small, explosive, fast edge rusher that's going to get to the quarterback.
I like that pick. Adam, who you got?
The Ravens have got to get a legitimate real-life big boy wide receiver at some point, don't they? I mean, Lamar Jackson needs to have someone to throw to, right?
No, they don't. No, he doesn't.
Okay. Well, I have them taking Terrace Marshall. They've got to get a wide receiver in there to help Lamar Jackson. I know that Ozzie Newsome does not like to trade up, but now that they have 2 first-round picks, I could see them maybe trying to put together a package to move up to get one of the really elite wide receivers. Not that Terrace Marshall isn't good, but I have them taking Terrace Marshall.
Good stuff. Taryn, who you got?
I have the Ravens taking Jamin Davis. Again, I think you said it best. The Ravens are about as defense gets. They're also offensive orientated as well with Lamar Jackson, but I think defense, it wouldn't hurt to boost their defense even further, and I think picking Davis would be quite helpful for them.
I could not agree more. Okay, next up, 28th overall pick. I know we didn't make time, but we're getting real close to it, and we're actually doing pretty good. So, New Orleans Saints, overall, guys, this guy's pretty damn good. Jamin Davis, I hope that's how you say his name, but linebacker out of Kentucky. The guy is a hitter, man, and people slept on Kentucky. Last year, or 2 years ago, Kentucky was freaking amazing. They weren't that same team this year, but you know what? He's actually a pretty good player, and I really think that I know, Breeze retired, but when it comes down to it, finding another Breeze is, well, it's a generational player. So overall, defense might as well just stay. Once again, if they don't score, we don't lose. So I'm taking Davis to go to the Saints. Mike, who you got?
So I tapped the Saints in one of my previous shows as one of the most, if not the most likely team to trade down and out of the first round because they're in salary cap hell for the next 2 years. They need as many cheap, young, affordable guys as they can get. So I could see them trading back multiple times to acquire a bunch of picks and really just load up on that young, affordable talent. But if they stay, I have them actually going with a receiver, Rashad Bateman. Nice little weapon to complement Michael Thomas and hopefully give whoever ends up being the quarterback there, whether it be Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, an extra piece of the puzzle.
Okay, good stuff. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, this pick is just so weird and odd and just so weird all around the board. This is one of the picks that I actually had to adjust on the fly thanks to the Broncos trade. Thank you again, John Elway. God, he really needs to check in with us before he does things like this. I have Ronnie Perkins, edge rusher from Oklahoma, in this spot. I know that they still have a good pass rush there in New Orleans. This is more about getting some depth, but I could absolutely see them trading back so that their picks are less expensive, and then they just get more of them. So for now, Ronnie Perkins.
Okay, good stuff. And Taryn, who you got?
So I accidentally screwed up my last pick. I had the Ravens taking Samuel Cosmi. Jamin Davis is my pick for the New Orleans Saints, just because their defense needs to get better. I don't know how many times they allowed their opponents to score 30-plus, but that needs to stop. Otherwise, they will be playing second fiddle to the Buccaneers.
Agreed. Okay, so next up, y'all, Green Bay Packers, 29th overall pick. Rashad Bateman just makes sense. Wide receiver, Minnesota. They need more weapons there, man. Lazard's pretty dang good. We know Devontae Adams is a freaking beast. But come on, y'all. You need more weapons. I mean, I haven't seen that many big-time weapons for Rodgers. And it's like when Rodgers doesn't play, they fall apart. So, I don't know. I just feel like they need more weapons there to make things go around better in Green Bay. So, I think Bateman, if he's still on my board. If he's still on the board for them, I think they're going to take him. Mike, who you got?
Well, I would love for the Packers to pick a receiver. They just seem to never freaking do it in the first round. Like, it makes so much sense. They just don't do it. It's kind of like the Eagles taking a linebacker. Why would I predict it if it's not going to happen? Well, get ready for this one, Adam, because I have the Packers taking Jamin Davis, linebacker. Look, so I'm not super high on Davis. I read up, I did some research on him. he's a little raw, and he only has 1 full year of starting experience under him. But all indications are he's a late riser. People love his physical tools. He's got great length at linebacker at 6'3", 235. I'm trying to steal as many words from Adam as I possibly can because I know that's his pick. But yeah, Green Bay does need help at linebacker, and if they're not going to go receiver, I mean, we're all just throwing darts at the board anyways.
Alrighty, nice work. Adam, who you got?
I have Jamin Davis out of Kentucky. It makes all the sense in the world for the Packers to get a wide receiver. It made all the sense in the world for the Packers to get a wide receiver last year in the deepest wide receiver class ever. And they decided to not do it, and instead they got Aaron Rodgers' replacement for 5 years from now. So who the hell knows what the Packers are going to do? The Packers they look so far ahead with their picks. They look 3, 4, 5 years down the road with their picks. So Davis is raw. So sure, it makes all the sense in the world for them to take Jamin Davis because he's somebody that can rotate in and fit in, and he's not a weapon for Aaron Rodgers.
I like it. 30th overall pick, guys. We're almost there. The Buffalo Bills.
Oh, what about Terry?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, man, my bad, guys.
I'll be brief.
Okay,
I have the Packers taking Caleb Farley. I don't know why he falls that far down, but I just have him going to there to help out that Green Bay Packers defense. That way, Aaron Rodgers can stick with Tom Brady or any of the other powerhouses from the NFC and whatnot. So it wouldn't shock me if Green Bay butchered this pick, though.
Yeah, seriously.
I hope they do.
For a team butchers so many draft picks, I don't know how they win the division every year.
Because they have Aaron freaking Rodgers.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they also play in a division with Mitch Trubisky.
Oh.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore. But
Now it's Andy Dalton.
Oh, that's
so much
not
better. That is, yeah. With that said, y'all, Buffalo Bills, Gregory Rousseau. Why? Because he's an edge rusher. Why? Because the Buffalo Bills need somebody to come off the edge. Why? Because the Buffalo Bills are a good team that needs somebody to come off the edge. That's literally my logic. Mike, who you got?
So I actually have them taking Greg Newsome, the cornerback out of Northwestern. It was a little bit of an unknown to me until the last couple of weeks, but the more I read about him, the more I like him. And the more I'm thinking, he doesn't have like one super elite quality, but he does a lot of things really well. It reminds me of another cornerback that Buffalo managed to draft at the end of the first round, a one Tre'Davious White. Reminds me a lot of him, and I think if they can find White's duplicate as White's running mate for the next 5 years, I think they'll be in great shape.
I like it. Okay, so next up, Adam, who you got?
Yes. This was the final pick for me that got changed as a result of the Teddy Bridgewater trade earlier today. I had the Bills taking Ronnie Perkins because absolutely edge rush is a huge, huge need for Buffalo. That's what they'd like to do. My board doesn't have a good edge rusher on it at this point for this spot, so I have them strengthening a strength, making their wide receiver core even better. Rashad Bateman is still available. I have him going to the Bills.
Okay, how about you, Taryn?
I have the Bills taking Jason Owe. That also benefits their defense because if they're going to want to keep up with the very tough AFC East and the Chiefs, because they are getting that first place schedule, remember that, they're going to need some more defensive help and whatnot. So I think that I was also going to go with Travis Etienne, but I think Owe is a better defensive end. Is better at defensive end instead of running back.
Alrighty, Baltimore Ravens have traded. We know they've traded, of course, Brown to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now they have the 31st pick. I'm going with Jackson Carman, big boy out of Clemson. He's listed as a guard/tackle. I think he's a pretty damn good player, and you know what? Why not? They need more help with the offensive line. That just makes so much sense to me. Mike, how about you, man?
Alrighty, so this is pick number 4 in Mike's wild picks selection, and this is probably the strangest one of them all, but I couldn't justify, really, because offensive line, Baltimore loves their mid-round offensive linemen. You know, they've only taken a handful early in probably the past decade. So I couldn't convince myself of an offensive lineman. Wide receiver, they need a big physical guy. And while Terrence Marshall's still on my board, he's a bigger receiver, but he's not physical. He's more of a deep threat because he's 6'4", but he's only around 200 pounds, so he doesn't have that physicality. So that didn't make sense for me either. They already have an edge rusher, so I just went wild and crazy. I went with Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson, because, you know, Baltimore loves running the ball. They need a great change of pace back to go with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. And, hey, if you can run the ball 40 to 45 times a game for 200 to 250 yards, you're probably going to win a lot of ball games.
I agree. Okay, so next up, Adam. And my bad, guys. Okay, so I actually got to get going pretty soon here, so just make these as quick as you can. Adam, how about you, man?
Yeah, this was, I just looking at my notes, this is the pick from the Orlando Brown trade. I actually still have the C from Chiefs in this spot in my notes. So the Cravens are going to be taking Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri. The Ravens love making their defense even better. He makes sense. He made sense for the Chiefs. He makes sense for the Ravens.
Okay, how about you, Darren?
I got the Ravens taking Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue. They need wide receiver help, and I think this is pretty much where they're going to get their guy. I know he's undersized, but the dude could ball.
Okay, and lightning fast, guys, Tampa Bay. I'm going Joe Tryon. Why? Because he's a beast, man. Linebacker out of Washington. I've seen him in the Pac-12. He's a great player, and honestly, they do need some help on the defense. Why not, man? So good pick there. Mike, how about you, man?
I've got another edge player. I've got Gregory Rousseau going here, a guy who was a top 10 pick up until probably the past 2 months. But, you know, various things have come back to bite him a little bit. But he's a good developmental edge rusher for them to grow behind Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul.
Great stuff there. Okay, so next up, how about you, Mr. Adam? Uh-oh. Adam, you there?
Doesn't look like he's in the chat room.
Uh-oh. All right, Taryn, how about you?
I have the Buccaneers taking Joseph Asai, the outside linebacker from Texas. Why not give the defense more help and whatnot? Because defense wins championships, and that's pretty much what shut down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Okay, and there you go. So, with that said, I love to give everybody the access, but I do got to get out. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will be that for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Cue the music, because we're out of here, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun one. I appreciate you all so very much for being here tonight. Taryn, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show. Also, Mike Beck, Harrison Glazer, my goodness, there's been so many of you guys on tonight. Justin Lark, Davison Crooks, of course, Adam Garnick. You guys have been amazing. Like I said, I hate to dip and to get out of here so fast, but that will do it for tonight's show. I appreciate you all. Take care, and as always, God bless.